Ini pa to ah. Balik mo yan doon, diba?
I don't know the first damn thing about finding someone in a town this size.
The thing to do is find the nearby saloon. Gentleman's bar, as a matter of fact. We can put out word and see what we learn.
Damn, that's exactly what I do in any western town. Go to a saloon. Let be known who I want to find.
After a visit to the third gentleman's bar with an obligatory drink at each, Smoke called a halt to their inquiries for the day.
Now, let the word get around. Tomorrow, she hears something.
Great to know.
Miga love, shout out, Janice Cortez, Kikay, Bakikay.
To the riding school there. So we'll have to see what's been done with it.
Mind if I try?
Hiram ng cup.
In the small office of the academy, Smoke met the man who had so far
Mute mo na ako, Mayang, ha?
name on a letter.
Ate
He
Kix,
seemed genuinely
may bisita
pleased
nga
to meet
bata
Smoke
eh.
Jensen, and they talked of the horses purchased
Sige,
over the
sige.
years.
Salamat
Some had
kay.
been sold out
Salamat
for
Inday,
domestic
Janice.
gifts for wives or children. Others still walked the tree-lined trails of the park. A few, who had grown older, had been sold to the New York Transit system.
There's one.
Chani Bekbek, Miga love, shout out, Chani Bekbek.
Special, very skilled riders. The sergeant outlaw. I never sell outlaws.
Janice Cortez, Kikay.
Really, it might be said that it was in part my fault. I allowed our Mr. Armbruster to take him out several days in a row.
Chani
That was
Bekbek.
before Mr. Armbruster purchased a horse of his own. I'm afraid Mr. Armbruster maltreated the animal.
Share nyo guys.
Until we had a chance to observe how he dealt with his personal mount. Then it became clear.
Papunta na ako ng banyo. Nag-pop up ka ate. BG lang, maligo ako. Prepare sa aking live. Prepare sa aking live. Magla-live ka rin pala.
Well, that's most generous of you, Mr. Jackson. I appreciate it, you can be sure.
Salamat, Chani Bekbek. Shadow TV, thumbs up dan po. Thank you so much. Mat na tuloy. Thank you so much, Shadow TV.
His thighs started to ache, and he strongly believed he had sustained irreversible
Chani Bekbek, kanino bang, ano yon? Kanino bang ninja yung ano? Cherry Blossom. O pumaligo lang. O sige, hindi, sige.
wealthy men, Granville Dodge and the grandson of John Jacob Astor.
Astor got rich on the fur trade, as I'm sure you know.
He was rich before he started the American Fur Company. Though, from what people say back here, he was generous with what he had.
Three men blocked the path ahead. Two of them moved aside as Smoke and I approached. The third, a stout, heavily muscled individual with a shock of coarse black hair, did a double take. His face
Live
tightened
ba
as
siya, no?
Smoke rode past.
Live ba?
Oliver Johnson started too, and then he put a blank mask on his face. Once beyond the trio, he spoke to Smoke.
Believe me, I'm not imagining things. We just rode past Phineas Lathrop and Victor Middleton. The one with them who looks like a stevedore is Sean Boyd, the cause of your recent troubles.
My God, let's go get him.
They're bound to have more men in close combat. Just because they're dressed in fancy riding habits doesn't mean Lathrop and Middleton are any less thugs than O'Boy. It's too isolated here.
Which makes me like it all the more. I need to get them off my back.
Di ko alam ate, isa lang ninja ko. Si Shadow TV. Thumbs up, Risa. Mega love, shout out. Hello, Ma'am Janice, MLSO.
Smoke, his face mirrored misery.
I didn't bring my gun along.
And spare. When they rounded a curve in the Sylvan Trail, Smoke discovered that their quarry had disappeared. He sprinted ahead to a break in the trees that lined the bridle path. Oliver tried desperately to keep up.
They recognize me, that's for sure.
Smoke shot him a quick glance and saw four men in the process of trying to mount horses with which they were definitely unfamiliar. He touched blunt spurs to his mount and sped off after Lathrop and the others. Their quarry entered another clump of trees and faded from sight. 30 yards separated them from Lathrop, and it proved to be their undoing. By the time Smoke Jensen entered the grove of ash, he found three chest-heaving horses and not a sign of the men they saw.
Hello, Ma'am Janice, MLSO, sabi ni Chani Bekbek.
Smoke made a hurried search and had to concede that Lathrop and company had gotten cleanly away. Suddenly, Smoke turned and saw one of the Boston hard cases coming on horseback, pulling a small revolver from under his coat. Without regard for their comrade, the remaining three fled with all the speed they could muster from the rented horses. Implacably, Smoke came after them. One of the longshoremen showed even less aptitude than his companions. Smoke raised his pistol. Smoke's powerful horse brought him within 2 lengths of the men he chased by the time they reached the walking path that bordered the meadow. Gauging the distance, Smoke freed his boots.
Dan shit. Mika love shoutout sa si Koy Sally.
For the situation, he encouraged to partner with a fallen man. He reined sharply, dismounted unsteadily, and lumbered toward the prone pair. New York sunlight glinted off the keen edge of the knife in his hand. Sensing the danger, Smoke did a snap roll sideways and snaked the 45 Colt from his holster.
Salamat siya ni Bekbek. Thank you, thank you.
Old Ad the Doubleday would say you were batting 500. Some of O'Boyle's union trash. What do we do now?
Return the horses, and then pay another visit to the office of Victor Middleton.
Their trip to Wall Street proved nearly as fruitless as the previous one. A stout matronly woman who claimed the title of office manageress greeted Smoke Jensen and Oliver Johnson icily after Smoke's intimidating size and harsh growl had frightened the mail secretary into summoning the Valkyrie of the financial district.
Mr. Middleton is not presently in and is not expected for some time.
I saw Mr. Middleton with Mr. Laker less than 2 hours ago in Central Park.
Yes.
Indeed, both of them, and 5 unsavory associates.
Oliver's description of old Boyle and Company thawed her somewhat. It seemed she agreed with him.
I do believe you are correct. There was some talk of acquainting a number of his lesser employees with the intricacies of horseback riding. For the life of me, I do not understand why they delayed so long. Both Mr. Middleton and Mr. Lothrop should already be boarding the train west.
Where in the West?
I'm not at liberty to disclose such information.
You could reveal your knowledge to the police instead.
The police?
Mm-hmm. Exactly where is Phineas Lathrop headed?
Who might you be that I should tell you these things?
My name is Smoke Jensen.
Mr. Lothrop, Mr. Cabot, and Mr. Middleton are taking the train to Denver. That's in Colorado.
Yeah, I know.
And they're taking along some 30 of the, I must say so, the most disreputable gentlemen from here in York that I have ever seen. Another 20 like individuals from Boston, I believe, are to learn to ride and follow on tomorrow's train.
Over breakfast, Smoke Jensen glowered at the bold black headlines of the New York Sun.
Crazed frontiersmen loose in Central Park. Boy, I wish they spelled my name. Listen to this. The notorious Smoke Jensen, gunfighter and mountain man, went on a rampage in Boston, ruthlessly murdering innocent dock workers and leaving a trail of widows and orphans behind. Only yesterday, Smoke Jensen raised havoc in Central Park. 2 men were left
5
dead,
million people in
and
house.
4
Thank you
more
so much, guys.
seriously injured. What the Sun does not understand is why the police question and then release this dangerous hired killer. What a load of crap. Typical yellow journalism.
Hey!
Ang ganda ng lipungal. Alis tayo, guys. Sino ba kinaaya mo? 3 lang nga yung tao kung iatay ka talaga, Sir DJ.
I don't mean that to sound
3 piraso tao. Tingnan mo.
So what I'm wondering is, what do we do now?
Ay, ginoo ko.
Wait for Sally. I don't see there's much for you to do.
Of course there is. We could use some help looking into the background on Middleton and Asher and Company.
Iatay.
Then I suppose I should pick up a few things for the trip.
What trip?
Out west, naturally. I'm sitting on the story of the decade, if not the century, and there's no way I'm going to...
Salamat, Sir DJ.
You said yourself that Middleton and Asher are the key to this. You can handle that better from right here. You mean running off to the Colorado mountains.
No, the story is you, Smoke. Where you go, I go. At least until I have the whole account. Think, conquest in the name
Ay, sorry guys, wag na tayong alis.
Smoke Jensen conquers criminal empire.
Oh, ginoo ko giatay.
Too long. Then how about
Guloy talaga to. Thumbs up ate, salamat Inday Crystal Pet. Hello po Sir DJ, sabi Sally. Giatay talaga si Sir DJ.
maybe so, but there is a story here, and I want to be the one to write it. And I promise, no yellow journalism. Deal?
These men we heard about dangerous.
Ma'am Sally, sabi ni Sir DJ, Crystal Pet,
I
salamat.
should take care of myself, right? Well, I guess my case.
All right. Go on.
I thought so.
Flames raged in the barn. Buford Early watched the long orange
Ganuan
columns
siya
of
ni Vic
sparks
Vic.
shoot from the open door to the hay mow.
Damn it! That'll lower the property value. And if those sparks set something else off, it'll be even worse.
Stray bullets had shattered a kerosene lantern and set the place ablaze.
You, man! Watch those other buildings. Don't let the fire spread.
Early's order was obeyed without question, but it hadn't always been that way. Until a short time ago, when Buford Early had shot a ranch hand and saved the life of Wade Tanner.
Hello sa lahat, MLS o Sir DJ Pink, sabi ni Cristel.
Who followed the man Phineas Lakers had put in charge. Tonight, they'd come closer to Smoke Jensen's Sugarloaf Ranch
John
than ever before.
1.
Early watched the hooded raiders spread out with wet blankets and buckets of water to extinguish any sparks that lighted on the bunkhouse and tool sheds. Still others hunted
Huwag
around
natin
the
paliparan
barnyard for
guys,
stray
guwapa
hands
ang
that
hus
managed to
giatay.
fend them off.
Mr. Tanner, it appears we have added another
Salamat
jewel
sir,
to this crowd.
sa pakulay-kulay mo dyan.
Take over the Sugarloaf.
Hi Cristel, sabi ni Sir DJ.
All the way from New York City to Dodge City, Kansas. None of the former longshoremen in the old Boyle gang liked the idea.
Tingnan mo nga, dalawang tao lang. Dalawa lang yung nandiyan. Ay, ginoo ko, natatawa ako.
Sure, the train would get us to Denver a lot faster.
Pag umalis ka pa, wala na rin.
His broad, thick shoulders bulged the cloth
Ay,
coat
ginoo
over a
ko.
flannel shirt. A shock of black hair hung over his brow. Finnegan had one flaw which Lathrop had taken note of at their first meeting. The black Irish bruiser had the florid complexion and ruddy, broken vessel nose of a heavy drinker. Only in his late 20s and already caught up in the Irish disease, as they called it. Such a man could quickly go unstable.
Your introduction to horseback riding in Central Park was entirely too short.
The Hockney voice is still saddle sore from that encounter, Mr. Lathrop.
It's sheer foolishness making a man ride astride a horse when there's this perfectly good trail to take us on. Nonsense. Riding to Denver will toughen you up for what is ahead.
O'Boyle looked again at the line of heavy western saddles, the leather pouches behind the cantle bulging with camp gear and boxes of ammunition.
We'll be hampered by all the overloads. You won't be carrying the load, Mr. O'Boyle. The horses will. Now get your men organized and take these saddles to the livery down the street. Your mounts have been selected.
But Sean O'Boyle was complaining to Phineas Lathrop yet again on the third night stop on the trail from Dodge City to Denver.
I'm telling you, Mr. Lathrop, it's sure we're going crazy out here. We are. It's too quiet. Nothing but birds singing it is and bugs buzzing around.
Parang si Woho. Mega love share out si Koy Asinet.
They're coyotes. Or whatever the hell they are. It's got us all worked in. We need something to do. Such as
Layasan.
some of the boys eventually. We saw that stage.
Wisit talaga to. Layasan natin ang host. Galit ako sa sombrero. Sombrero niya, hoy, Banjelin, bakit nilagay mo ang sombrero, ang lipungal, gumanda to eh. Baliw talaga to eh.
No, sir.
Ay, gihatay ka, Sir DJ.
Ward and Seamus Cord have a hankering to join us. That's sure. One of us could take one man with one little bitty shotgun. Don't be too sure. Those shotgun guards are tough men. Wells Fargo doesn't hire Eastern dandies to protect their strongholds.
Ayan na si Sikoy, oh.
calling us boys dandies, Mr.
Sally,
Lee?
Danto.
Oh, no, of course not. Well, I should think not. Now you've got to stick devil with bristle with firearms. When the stage folk get a look at that, they'll see your ears and right enough they will. I could order you not to. But this time I won't. Take the men you picked and go rob your stage. There will be one coming back around 10 o'clock in the morning. Mr. Finnegan and I will continue on with the others. We can catch up at nightcap. Ah, thank you, sir.
Sit in the high driver's seat of the Concorde coach behind a team of powerful rump bays.
Baliw to eh, baliw.
Walt Tilton could sense through the reins that the off-wheeler had started to slacken, letting the others pull the load.
Hoy, Diyos
Going
ko,
ran
Sir
just
Ride.
fast enough to keep up, but not put strain on the harness.
Come on, you ladies, so-and-so, Jasper, put your shoulders into it.
Pa-entry ka na si Sikoy, Asinet.
How you always know?
Well, Clint, I've been driving these things for nigh under 20 years now. After a while, you get that feel of what you keep to doing. It's sort of like you knowing when to put hands on that scattergun you want.
I'm playing instinct.
Danto,
I've
to ni
seen
Bigay.
some trouble before it happens. Like right now.
You spotted me?
Nope.
Slim nodded ahead along the high road.
6 million, thank you so much. 8 million. Ah, nilagyan ng tao, hindi pungal, oh.
Each held a weapon, although in an awkward
Ah.
position, as though ill-trained in its use. The one to left
Sa-
and center rose in
Sally
the
Trevino,
stirrups,
Sis Cristel Pet Arellano, Irene, mega love, shout out, Irene Marie, Inday. Salamat, Inday. Number 2, number 3, si Inday
Didn't
Irene.
even slow the stage. As the other scoundrels brought their guns into ready positions, Slim leveled the 10 gauge. Double-off buckshot turned the face of Patrick Boyd into a wet red smear. 3 caliber pellets from the second barrel punched painfully into the left shoulder of Connor O'Fallon. O'Fallon awkwardly turned his mount away and put spurs to the flanks. Slim quickly reloaded the 10 gauge and fired again, knocking Seamus out of the saddle this time. Sean O'Boyle glowered at the fallen Seamus Corn and then turned back to fire on the driver, heedless of the danger that created. His bullet splintered wood from the seat between the legs of Walt Tilton.
That could be close to the sweeping. Whoa! Good bullet, Patrick. Remember nothing is.
But Sean O'Boyle had definitely felt what it was like to truly take a dance in the West, and he didn't like it one damn bit. He quickly took off in the wake of Connor O'Fallon.
You done such a piglet! Well, let's get that wounded one and take him with us to Dodge City. Deliver my ass!
When the Denver-bound train carrying smoke and
Wala na, nilayasan na tayo ni Banje. May anong tawag nito, mayroong pigsa.
The Dodge City newspaper carried a detailed account. Smoke read it carefully, but he didn't share in the amusement.
Itigil mo ang TikTok mo, animal ka, Banjilin. Wala na, nilayasan na tayo ni Banje. Hoy, Banje, itigil mo ang TikTok mo, animal ka. Share it, be. Salamat, Inday.
You're going to Denver, where I want you to take a room at Brown Palace, and I'll go with you. I'm thinking of a short detour.
Irene Guapa, Sir DJ Pink Noise, hello.
Considering that they hang
Ate Mayang, sabi ni Inday Irene.
I expect some cooperation.
Our Eastern gangs have a strong bond of loyalty.
You sound almost proud. The way I see it, the sight of some new 3/4-inch hemp rope with 2 wraps of knot will loosen the most loyal tongue.
Smoke does really well in getting information from people who don't want to talk.
Thank you.
Ford County Sheriff Pat McCrane greeted Smoke Jensen with a firm handshake.
You're a bit far from the Bakery, huh? I am. We have reason to believe these men were headed for Denver.
Are they wanted for anything else?
Danto at 3.
How many were there on the holdup? 4. Only 4? There should have been a lot more than that.
Oh, they came through here. A lot of them.
Banjilin, tumigil ka daw sa TikTok.
Of course, out of town, head west. All of them talk peculiar. First batch seemed to talk through their noses.
First batch.
May pigsa ang kanyang kamunduhan, Sir DJ.
Kept to themselves. Didn't get in any trouble.
May pigsa siya sa bilat.
You know what I mean? Sort of.
Sir DJ.
Off,
Boston.
Wala nang nilayasan na tayo ng yung Banjilin. Hoy, Banji, tigil mo TikTok mo, animal ka.
Napigsa yung, ano, Zoom.
You want to talk to the prisoner?
That's what I came here for. I shouldn't be long.
Take you down, son.
Nasubrahan kasi kaya pinipigsa na yung bilat. Di atay, Sir DJ.
Once in the jail cell, Smoke Jensen looked over a crestfallen, pain-racked Seamus Corn.
I know you. You were in the warehouse with my wife.
You don't know what you're talking about, lad?
I'm Smoke Jensen. Does that refresh your memory?
Taylor! Taylor, help me, I'll be murdered! Smoke grabbed Corn by the shoulder and spun him around.
The sheriff's You're Seamus Corn. You're in charge of one gang, Dr. Phillips. What are you doing headed toward Denver?
God damn much. You answer the question.
Did you know they still consider stagecoach robbery a hanging fence out here?
Who is it?
Look like I'm kidding.
Oh, Jesus. I never caught on the rope around me like I didn't. Is there any way, anything I could do to get the judge to go easy on me?
You can try cooperating. Tell me what I want to know, and I'll put in a good word for you. What you and your gutter-snake friends didn't know is that I'm a deputy U.S. Marshal. My word can carry on weight of course.
From that point on, it went a lot easier than Smoke Jensen had anticipated. Within half an hour, he had learned everything Seamus Corn knew or had guessed about Phineas Lathrop's operation and his eventual goal. Sally had not been misled about the danger to herself, and Ollie had been right in labeling it a criminal empire. Phineas Lathrop cut a sour gaze around his dingy surroundings. He'd been forced into hiding at this third-rate flea-bag hotel in Denver by the unbelievable stupidity of Sean O'Connor.
Gantry.
How could anyone be so stupid, so inept? And how much clearer
Solly.
the actual plans I had no way of knowing. Fools!
Victor Middleton wore the expression of a caged animal.
Let's get out of this disgusting pigsty and get some
Done
fresh air.
for.
Something to eat. Good stiff drink. All right. We have to be careful, though. We don't know what that loud quern has told the law. The hell with him. He may have neglected it by the time he got to Dodge City. Here in Denver, we're simply honest businessmen, going about our affairs like anyone else. I see. And that's why we're living in this rat's nest.
Smoke Jensen caught up with his wife and the Boston Globe reporter at the Brown Palace in Denver late the next day. They had a late, sumptuous dinner, stayed the night, and caught the early morning milk train to Big Rock. Monty Carson had been alerted by telegraph, and he met the trio of weary travelers on the depot platform. Monty led the way back to his office.
Piers, you got some influential people around the East Smoke. Some of those Eastern reporters have been filing stories in the papers in Denver, Pueblo, Dodge City, St. Louis. They're everywhere west of Mississippi, I reckon. They ain't saying nice things about you either.
We got enough of that back there.
Well, that's why I can't work out why in hell you run along one with you, Smoke.
Ollie's okay. He found 5 favorable stories. 3 of them even got published.
Ain't hardly a fart in
Done
that sack
for.
of Smoke. For every good word he wrote about you, it's 100 bad ones, and they all got in print.
That's why I know some coolness from good folks at the depot.
You could say that. Seems they forgot real quick that out here we judge a man by how tall he walks, how much sand he's got, not by what some East Coast horse's ass writes about him. Sorry, man.
Oh, that's quite all right, Monty. I agree with you entirely.
Has there been a lot of strangers showing up around town lately? Pale faces with arms and shoulders too big for the rest of them, said.
There's been a few. Can't rightly place what's oddest about them. You're right about some of them shape. Hell, they got wrists the size of some men's biceps.
Longshoremen, dock workers from Boston and New York City. When they're working at their regular jobs, they wrestle around bales of cargo all day with a particularly boat. Let me guess, the ones from New York arrived first, right?
Yeah, only they didn't hang around town long. Looked sorry as hell to be on a horse's back. But they grained and rested their mounts overnight and took off to the northwest. You ask me, they'd have been happier walking. Don't underestimate them, Sheriff. They're dangerous. How's that? Oh, they had plenty of shooting irons along, but the experiences of a lifetime tell me they didn't have too much idea of how best to use them.
No, I was right.
Smoke explained what had happened in Boston and New York of the bungled stage robbery outside Dodge City, and some of what
James
they learned
Ibnalig, Mega Mega Love, shout out.
report from Oliver Johnson. Monty shook his head more than once during the recitation.
So what you're saying is that these boys could be a real threat to folks hereabouts? Well, there's been some unsavory deals struck, I can tell you that. Folks don't talk about it much. Seem real scared. But they sold their places anyhow and left the area.
Martin's even less.
Don't have at your back, Smoke. I suppose there's nothing for it. You need to go out and find these Eastern hard cases of yours.
That's my idea, exactly.
You're not leaving me out.
No, I wouldn't dream of it. As soon as we get Sally back to the Sugarloaf, the three of us are going down. Kick the hell out of the Metro City.
Thin tendrils of smoke rose from the tree-shrouded clearing ahead. Lowering the brass-bound field glasses from his eyes, Smoke Jensen nodded and pointed ahead to their quarry's night camp, already laid out at not quite 4:30 in the afternoon. He, Monty Carson, and Oliver Johnson had left the deep valley that sheltered the Sugarloaf 2 days earlier by way of Vale Pass. Monty had taken the customary frontier way of legitimizing the reporter's presence by deputizing him. They angled along the Arapahoe Pike Trail north and westward. The three lawmen had found immediate evidence of the presence of Lathrop's henchmen. A burned-out barn and vacant house told them a clear story. Similar, apparently abandoned properties added to their store of knowledge. Their enemies were cutting a swath of destruction across the land, and Smoke was not the least bit surprised. They had eaten a good breakfast before riding out from the daily spread that morning. Now the faint odor of boiling coffee and cooking meat tormented Oliver Johnson's belly and reminded Smoke and Monty of their own lack of solid food for the day.
That's that first bunch.
Dan
Let's say
3.
we go down and leave them for supper.
11 of the eastern gangsters, their rumps tender and their thighs aching from saddle soreness,
Marie
gathered
Chris,
around three cook fires.
tawagin mo
Two
sa ate mo, hindi
already
Marie Chris.
picked disinterestedly at plates of food, their appetites numb.
Sa ate mo, Marie Chris, tawagin mo.
Three men suddenly appeared from as many directions over a rise in the grassy meadow where they had made camp. Three ex-longshoremen thinking it
Oh,
might be more than
kani ang ordira na nila sa ulo ni kana. Ang gamito dito na pagisda ba? Tilapia dito sa lusok na.
swiftly approaching riders
Sa 299.
decided far too late that these were unwelcome guests.
Asali. Ano, 299 na. Kitunit ka ni, ganun lang ulo. Pag maniko, may harang ba? Dito kalabas. Oh, orderin mo.
Especially when firing from horseback. Smoke was right. The dead man's companions jumped away from the fire, scrambling in different directions. That spoiled Smoke's first shot. Smoke cut his eyes to the right in time to see Monty Carson lever three fast rounds through his Winchester repeater, which spooked half a dozen horses improperly tied off to a picket line. Immediately, Smoke sighted in on a barrel-chested stevedore who stood in his path, a rifle raised to his left shoulder. Smoke was a millisecond too slow, and the man was able to get his shot off, which burned Smoke's left arm.
Dan Lucky.
Over this way!
Some of them are getting away. Eddie Meeks didn't know how in the hell he'd let himself in for this going west thing. Over his shoulder, Eddie saw one of the trio bearing down on him now. His eyes locked on the twin black circles of a shotgun muzzle. Fierce sweat popped out on Eddie's forehead, and he found he could not take his eyes off that terrible weapon. Still racing through the knee-high grass, Eddie felt his left boot make contact with a hidden rock. No, don't shoot! Oh, Jesus, don't shoot me! Ollie Johnson reined up in a fog of flying clouds. For a precarious moment, he steadied the greener on the chest of the frightened hard case. He looped the reins over the saddle horn, took a soft leather sap from his left-hand coat pocket, and smiled, bent toward Eddie Meeks. One less. Still thinking in terms of their experience with the law in the East, the newly created gun hands made a show of resistance, but then most quickly surrendered. Only 3 of the 11 died in the brief fight, with 2 wounded. When the last 2 had fled were brought to the meta, Smoke Jensen made a quick evaluation.
Can't drag this garbage with us. We've never done going in. Ollie, you can find your way back to how the Dailies ran from trouble, can't you?
Sure. You want me to go for help?
No. I want you to escort the prisoners back. Stay overnight, then get Daly's help taking them on the bridge. Then I want you to go on to the sugar road. Keep an eye on Sam.
You trying to get rid of me again?
Not at all. I have something for you to do. I'll send along a note in the form. I want Ryan on your hands. Put a round-the-clock watch on the range. The note will also tell me to send Sam Ward, R8, and see Tucker with you. To make a sweep south and west and close off any escape.
Bantay, nagbasa-basa ka dyan, ha?
Advanced mitigating gives you the authority to deputize them. Once everyone is in place and we have their backs against the mountains, and round up.
Okay, but let's say first thing we fill our others.
Spoken like a true friend.
Early the next morning, Smoke Jensen and Monty Carson happened upon a dozen of the neophytes. It hadn't been difficult. The greenhorns blundered
5 million people in the house. Thank you so much, guys. Salamat sa tambay niyo dyan, guys, ha? Salamat.
A few years earlier, they would have gotten their hair lifted by the Arapaho. The weapons they carried in great quantity and not packed so much potential death and destruction. They would have been laughable. Their ineptitude allowed Smoke and Monty to remain out of their sight as the babes in the wood rode by.
Johnny Beckbell.
Once the tenderfeet had gone out of earshot of any but themselves, Smoke revealed his hastily assembled plan to Monty.
I'll go in.
6 million. Thank you.
We'll take that, man. I reckon you're right.
I figure a few cut cinch straps, a couple of them all tied, such will give us this won't worry about.
Smoke, you could glide in there and slit all their throats while they slept. Yet you always open your dance with these shenanigans.
The way I figured out all of them are killers. Most, in fact, are only over-road spoiled brats with guns in their hands. They find out there's some ground between they're tougher and smarter than they are. They'll like it, sure enough. Better that way. I don't enjoy taking a man's life.
Smoke and Monty gnawed cold biscuits and strips of jerky while the bunglers stumbled through the pine and Douglas fir forest that blanketed the swollen bosom of the mountains. They ate more while the flatlanders roasted a deer haunch over a poorly made smoky fire.
I hope they like the taste of pine resin with their meat. And you hear that?
Let them all eat sleep.
The 2 lawmen sat in silence after that, listening to the distant sounds of the Easterners as they dwindled into quiet. A sliver of moon added only slightly to the frosted starlight that shimmered down on the grassy clearing where the outlanders had settled for the night. Smoke faded into the darkness on foot. Smoke found his first candidate within 500 yards of where Monty waited. For whatever reason, the man had wandered off from the others to sleep alone in it. Smoke crouched beside the man for 2 long minutes before ensuring a longer, even deeper slumber
by the application of the barrel of his 45 Colt to the green-orange head. Quickly, he trussed up the unconscious object lesson with picking string in the victim's belt. A dirty sock and a strip of the man's shirt served for a gag. Smiling to himself, Smoke Jensen took all the weapons with him as he moved away into the dim light of the stars. He found 2 more restless souls further in toward the camp.
Over here.
She tried. No. Oh. You're a good one with them everything, right?
Right. There.
The young hoodlums got to their boots and headed toward the sound of Smoke's voice. The first to reach the place found the muzzle of a revolver stuck in his ear.
Here.
Ha?
Isa mo ba?
Inukuya natira?
Ano na?
Kana?
Quickly, Smoke relieved them of their sidearms.
Do you know the way out here?
Both men shook their heads.
It's that way. I suggest you start walking. You don't look back.
Kuya Prani, miga love, shout out.
You should
Number
make it.
4, number 5.
From there, it'll be easy to find the nearest train. Get the hell back to New York.
What do you think you are?
Smoke Jensen.
Oh, shit. How'd you get up on us like that?
These mountains have been my home since I was younger than you. I'm not going to let this street scum come take over. I'll put it in the simplest terms so you can understand it. You leave or you die.
We're going. We're already out of here.
Nick the Limpy did not like being out in these woods alone. No matter what that English Baptist waiter said, there were wild Indians on the loose around here, and he knew it. Slight rustling of leaves attracted his attention. Curious, the streetwise instinct aroused, Nick pulled the .32 Smith & Wesson from his coat pocket and walked through the leaves and fallen branches with a left and satisfactory silence. In the dim starlight, he noticed a bush.
Mayang gapahuway man.
Raised his revolver to eye level.
Okay, come on in there.
Ago Kuya Prani oy.
The bush only vibrated with greater violence. Nick jumped to one side and quickly rounded the suspected area. There, he found 2 of the Irish gang hanging upside down from an alder limb over the bush.
Dan Inday sa Chief Konak K.
From the hills in a desperate attempt to attract attention.
Gee, what happened to you two? I did.
What the? Nick whirled around and came face to face with the biggest, broadest man he had ever seen in his life. Starlight gleamed off the barrel of a huge 45 Colt revolver lined on Nick's chest.
Who the hell are you? Your worst nightmare, I'm thinking. My answer.
Saan ka?
Jensen.
Saan ka?
Shit.
Some told Nick
Hindi
he
kita
was going to
nakikita.
die in this lonesome place, far away from his Brooklyn neighborhood. The following afternoon, Smoke picked his spot well. Monty Carson on the other side of the trail waved to show he had gotten into position as well. They trailed a small band for half of the morning, then swung wide to get ahead of them. The narrow, unnamed pass in the Medicine Bow range of the Rockies didn't allow for much deviation. Unless the Flatlanders turned back, they could go nowhere else but into the ambush. Smoke would need 2 well-placed shots in rapid succession to activate the key to that ambush. He planned a diversion that would effectively seal off any retreat. Nestled down behind a fallen forest giant, the barrel of his Winchester Express rifle rested across the trunk. Smoke sighted in on the knot that held the weighted gun sack in place. Smoke saw the appearance of the first 2 members of the gang. He broke his side picture a moment to study
John
the
Irene.
hard cases. 2 hats, derbies of course, appeared over the drop in the trail. Under them were heads with outlandish hairstyles. The eyes locked straight.
Thank you so much sa 7 million guys.
Either side. The nodding heads of the mouth showed next. Smoke returned his attention to sighting in on the knot. The second round severed the rope that held their diversion out of sight among the branches of the alder. Smoke watched as a huge hornet's nest cracked open on the trail, and the winged insects swarmed out to seek vengeance on whoever had disturbed them. They quickly found the greenhorn gunman. From his position on the far side, Monty Carson put a bullet through the shoulder of one Eastern thug who had drawn his sixth gun. Smoke Jensen took the hat off another with his Winchester. The intruders shot their horses full in an attempt to escape the gunfire and the horns. Smoke led him as they approached his position so that his slug cracked past inches in front of the face of the man in the lead. He reined in so violently that his mount went to its rear haunches. Smoke stood up, Winchester covered him.
Put your hands in the air.
The four mounted men did as told. Pretty goddamn lickety split, too.
All right, slowly. Drop all your weapons. Everyone, or you die right here.
Monty Carson appeared from his concealed position and ambled down.
Rizalin Reyes, BG host. Kaninong ano to, ninja? Rizalin.
Monty officially covered the more distant pair that faced him. When the lawman reached the spot where Green
Riza.
they began to obey by shuffling their assortment of arms.
Rizalin.
I want all of you to turn around and ride like hell out of the high country, all the way back to where you came from.
The men complied, speeded along by
Ok na you know who I am. I don't know you. That's why I was asking. Merlita. Milet, dito na ko. Sana manalo din.
This chasing could go on forever. What I need is a way to smoke out labor from these partners. I think the thing to do is go back to the show. We'll let it get around and I'm there, ready for a show.
Wade Tanner found Phineas
Salamat, Milet.
Mr. Middleton seated in a sunny area of the city park. The thin, cool air of Denver apparently did not agree with him.
Mr. Laker did something important.
But what is it, Tanner?
I got the word on Smoke Jensen. He's holed up on that ranch of his, Sugarloaf. What's going around is he's making a fool of the place. There's a lot more.
Jan 5 and 6, Sally.
You need a lesson in cooperation.
No, I advise against that. Never attack a man in his position of strength.
Is that how you got so far in the business world?
Matter of fact, yes. Far enough that you came to me for finances, remember?
Let's cut this crap. So far it's 1 against 1. We'll decide what to do after we talk with our captain.
At 11 that morning, Laker, Middleton, and Cabot gathered around the table piled high with juicy roasted pork.
Kaninong si Sikay Sally, kaninong ninja yan si Rizalin Reyes.
On Pike Street. Human, Wade Tanner waited outside while his stomach rumbled. They attacked the food first, then over coffee, they discussed alternatives based on Tanner's intelligence. Middleton remained adamant. Cabot swayed in his direction at first, then abstained from agreeing with either one of his partners.
Dan Bumbimban.
In which case, I'm going ahead. Get Tanner in here.
Kapitan, giatay ka. Ikaw din ang giatay ka. Giatay ka, bakikay. Kay klaro.
They dug rifle pits dotted the slope and meadows of the Sugarloaf. They'd been positioned to guard all approaches to the ranch, their flanks protected by trees or boulders. Their zigzag arrangement also allowed a covered route from one to the other, so that as
Kapitan.
the area with gunfire.
Milet, gusto mo ba magpa-entre, Milet?
Looked at him approvingly from where he stood before his gathered hands.
Puntahan mo yung 5, 6, 7, Milet, para marami kang entre.
I'll leave the rest.
Dan, 5, 6, 7.
Filling water barrels and, of course, tending the stock, the leg, and the day crew. 4 of you will come with me. I'm going to set up some nasty surprises for whoever takes our invitation to the dance.
Enthusiastic, meaningful.
Ano yung makikay? Sinali mo pag-entre yung sarili mo?
To attend to their tasks. Smoke went to the 4 men he had selected, Dandy walking immediately at his side. Smoke swung into the saddle, a signal for the 4 to do the same, and he nodded for him to move out.
Kicks yan.
Here, clear across the road. I wanted at least 5 feet deep.
Hindi.
It had been completed to Smoke's satisfaction. He studied the area for a while.
We'll have to carry away the dirt and cut saplings to cover the pit like framework. The tarps you brought along go over that. Then enough dirt to make a trail look normal.
Smoke set about selecting wrist-thick limbs of several nearby pines. These he cut with an axe.
Oo, paano, di ko alam. Puntahan mo yung, di ba, 5 to 6, ayun o, nakapindot sa taas, nakapin sa taas yung nakayelo. Mag-comment ka doon kung ano napanood mo, tapos yung pagtapos mo mag-comment, sa napanood mo, lagyan mo doon, mayang. Dan Kikay. Sample, kung may maganda yung lugar. Ang ganda naman ng lugar na ito. Tapos lagyan mo from Buhulan na mayang or mayang.
Closing up all access but a straight line that provided a clear field of fire from the rifle pits beyond. With a nod of satisfaction, Smoke Jensen pulled off his thin leather gloves and delved into a saddlebag for whatever treasure Sally had sent along for his new. He was not disappointed. A fat ham sandwich on freshly baked bread was rounded out with a boiled egg and cold beans. And she had even included a
Dan 5-7.
Attended to by Cynthia Patterson and the bunkhouse cook, the others fared equally well. They settled down to eat. Between bites, Hank Bowers asked about the afternoon's plans.
That's what bothers me. Hurry up with our news.
7 million people in the house. Thank you so much, guys.
Well, are you expecting an army?
At least 50 men.
You think they'll come the same way?
No, Hank.
Dan Prani.
That's stupid. I expect this Laker to split his force in half at least. You come at us from several directions at once.
Well, it's gonna be a hell of a fight.
8 million. Maraming salamat sa inyo, guys.
Hank's words stuck with Smoke Jensen throughout the rest of the day. By the time they returned to the ranch,
Kanino kinainan yan?
those words had worked their way deep into his conscience.
Kanino kinainan ito?
The horses smoked
Tayo kay Dodong.
for the bunkhouse.
Oh, patapon mo kay Dodong sa basurahan.
Listen up, man. I've been thinking.
Genre TV, mega live, shout out.
Reason to risk your lives in.
Mega shuri.
Provoke a powerful man with a lot of guns backing him. So, I've no cause to expect you to take extraordinary chances.
Tusok na.
That is, you're free to
Maraming salamat, Jen.
prejudice. Remain on the payroll and we'll be welcome back when the battle's over. You fight for the brave. 5 of us could hold the place against all the men Lathrop could throw at us. Hell, 3 would do in a pinch.
Well, it ain't gonna be that way, Mr. Jensen. I see what we done today. I reckon the next few days will be full of making more dirty surprises for them Eastern so-called gunfighters. I aim to be in on that, and I want to see what those things can do to them.
You know how I feel. You men didn't sign on to be gunfighters. Hell, I'll bet that half of you can't find your butt with a bullfiddle, let alone hit what you shoot at.
Well, we may not be up to standing in the middle of the street trading slugs with 5 or 6 Randy sons, but we can, by God, hit what we aim at. You done seen to that, Mr. Jensen.
Thanks for the reminder, Hank. And from here on in, call me Smoke.
All right, Smoke. Another thing, there ain't a man jack of us that can't outshoot them New York dandies.
We're going to make certain that Lathrop's hard cases come to grief any way they choose to come at us. First thing after supper, Bowers and I will be passing out boxes of extra ammunition to each of you. You wear your sidearms at all times and keep a rifle or shotgun close at hand. I'll have a watch list drawn up and posted by 9 o'clock tonight.
Well, I thought you already had one.
I had to know who'd be here first. But from here on out, we've got only one thing to do. Bring a world of grief to Phineas Lake.
53 men left Georgetown, Colorado at the northern base of Gray's Peak and rode north through Berthold Pass on the Lake Rock. Phineas Lathrop took the lead. He had been told that they had more than a day and a half ride to the small town, nested in the folds of the rockets. Almost at once, those flatlanders began to complain. Everywhere they went, the terrain seemed to be up or down.
Salamat.
By the time they reached their first goal, all of the Eastern crime elite agreed that what they needed was a long soaking hot tub, soft bed, and a real chair to sit in. So many hard-faced strangers banded together and riding into the small town aroused a hell of a lot of curiosity and fear in the residents of Big Rock. Mike Carson stood on the stoop of the sheriff's office and watched the cavalcade walk their mounts silently down the main drag. When the last had gone out of sight, he reached down a hand and put it on the spindly shoulder of the secret boy who stood at his side.
You take your phone, skirt around them hard cases. Grind lickety split the sugar loaf. Mind you stop
Ay,
for a
mabili
half
mo.
mile inside
Wala
the
akong
gate.
pera. Ay, nabuang.
No smoke.
Oo nga pala, no?
And you
Kunin mo yung
might run into
bangko.
something unpleasant if you're on your own. Tell Smoke that they're on their way to the Lakeport Punch.
Yung puno, ano na lang, 1-4 niya. May natira na 1-4.
We'll be on
Ano
our way
1-4?
to pick up the leavings.
Yung higaan ba? Oh, 1-4 na lang. Tapos,
The boy nodded
may natira
eagerly,
ka sa pera mo,
hurried to
1-4.
complete his task.
Meron pa ako dyan. Tira 1-2.
Kaya nga, yun na yung sa form na yun.
Ah, yun na yan.
Data
Smoke
pala
Jensen
yung
found
form.
Bobby Harris exactly where
Wala akong
Sally
pera
had told him the boy would be. Bobby sat on a large stump behind the sprawling house that had started.
Kuha ka dun sa lalagyanan doon. Yung bintahan to yun.
Hunched over with elbows on thighs,
Is ano naman ako.
chin was in the palm of his upturned
Ganun din ulam namin yung tinirak sa inyo dyan ah.
Hindi pa ngayon man.
Ah, sige. Adobo ra. Huwag kayo glat eh. Dan 8. Kuha ka dun ba sa ano, flower base. Doon ko nilalagay bintahan. Hindi, may mga buo doon ano. Magkano? Siyempre, 500.
Oh, it's done faster, all right. I ain't no use to the sugarloaf anymore.
You're no use to me.
Siya ni Vic.
That way you
Dan, Ate Sally, James.
You can't hide behind an attitude.
I know I can't be any use to you. You put me out of this fight that's coming up.
Naubos ng tuyo ko kaya napabili ako uli ng tuyo.
Fight like a man.
Pabili another box. Isang box naman.
For all your abilities with horses, you're still an 11-year-old boy.
Sabay ako sa kapatid
They're a
ko.
good deal for you. I want you to be safe. So to
Yung
sell it,
paano, may kita-kita rin ng
He said
konti.
the other hands could stay and fight when they brought up that they could hit what they shoot at. Well, I can hit what I shoot at too.
damn it all. I don't want you killed. Is that too awful to accept?
Go away. I don't want to talk anymore.
Exasperated beyond
Dan
all
8.
patience and suspecting that he was somehow to blame for his failure, Smoke Jensen turned away. Inside the house, he recounted his lack of progress with Bobby to Sally.
Don't worry, dear. I'll talk to Bobby and help him see that this is for his own good.
We have the same
Full
problem.
done. 5,
Help came
6,
to
7.
Smoke Jensen shortly before midnight in the form of a skinny red-headed kid. Little Jamie Seegers, escorted by one of the hands, arrived with his message from Monty Carson. Once he delivered the sheriff's terse words, he just stood there in wonder, staring
Dalawa.
around the living room which had once been the entire interior of the Jensen home.
It's late. That army of warhawks wasn't right on your heels. I'd say you should
Tatlo.
stay tonight. As it is, we've got to get you out of here. Do you have a gun, boy?
No, sir. My pa won't let me.
Well, with Lathrop's men on the loose here, it isn't safe for you to go around unarmed. If I could spare one of the hands. Wait a minute. Wait here for a minute, Jamie.
Smoke went
Saglit lang,
upstairs,
guys, ah.
ducking his head under the low ceiling. He went to Bobby's room. Bobby sat on the end of his bed in the unlit room, staring out at the darkness beyond. Smoke crossed to him. He put a hand on the boy's shoulder, but Bobby squirmed away.
Bobby, do you have your 6-gun clean, oiled, and loaded?
You changed your mind?
Yeah, sort of. There's an important thing that needs doing. I think you're the right one to handle it. Downstairs is a boy who brought me a message from Monty Carson. With Lathrop's gang swarming around the place any time now, he can't get back home safely by himself. He's unarmed. They need someone to escort him back to Big Rock.
Tusukan nyo guys, yung kay Bumbimban guys, premier ata to, yung binaba ko kasi kaganina Bumbimban, hindi premier.
I'll get dressed right away.
You'll have to take the high pass and go the long way around. I'll have Sally pack enough food. Take your carbine along. And a thick shotgun for Jamie Seegers.
Jamie? Oh, I know him from school. His pop's dumb. Won't let Jamie learn to shoot.
Don't speak ill of your elders, Bobby. But in this case, the truth is, I agree with you. That's why I think a scattergun's best. Now,
Hurry along and we'll get you away. Once downstairs again,
Done
Smoke
9.
walked to Sally's side.
I think we got the problem solved. Bobby Harris will be going with you, Jamie. You'll take the high pass and circle down the Big Rock. Should be there by late afternoon tomorrow.
Oh, Smoke, you've done it again.
Johnny Big
Just taking
Big.
care of loose ends, man.
Ikay,
Fixing
8,
my
9,
bill
10.
flats.
Sally,
Remember,
8, 9, 10.
I've changed my mind about sitting here and waiting. I'm going to take a dozen hands out and give Phineas Lathrop a headache.
Kikay,
At first,
kikay.
Phineas Lathrop thought his own men were taking pot shots at squirrels and woodpeckers. Dawn had just put a pink haze across the steep grade their horses pulled into. A stretch of road
Sunday.
that marked the last 5 miles to the Sugarloaf. Phineas slowed the heavy-chested mount he straddled and swiveled in the saddle. The darkness still shrouded the trail behind him. From it, he marked the yellow-orange wings of muzzle blast. He counted 5. No,
Happy Lux. Thank you so much, sir. Happy Lux.
to the rear of his column.
Smoke Jensen, how could he have found out so soon? Up there in the
Sally Tribino.
Lathrop's inexpert gunman chipped a lot of granite and sprayed lead high over the heads of the Sugarloaf hands. And suddenly, mounted men twirling loops and covered-eye riflemen charged to the rear. The lassos settled around the arms and shoulders of 3 New Yorkers. Suddenly, they were slithering through the grass away from their companions. Then, quickly as it had come, the attack broke off. Damn you, Smoke Jensen!
11,
Another plan developed in Smoke's head on the way to attack Lathrop in the rear.
12,
He now led his men, none of whom had received a scratch, on a wide run around the approaching column. Smoke had been surprised to learn that Lathrop had not been battle-wise enough to divide his large force and assault the ranch from several directions at once. Perhaps he decided, unwilling to underestimate his opponent. Lathrop's lack of
13.
unfamiliarity with the terrain had caused this mistake. Whatever the case, Smoke Jensen determined to make use of the blunder to the detriment of the would-be empire builder. Phineas Lathrop had barely managed to regain his composure and reorganize his column of Eastern guns when Smoke Jensen and his 12 ranch hands struck at him from the front.
Come on, men, fight with all you have.
John Atimayos, James.
As a bullet punched through the crown. 2 more bullets popped through the widespread sides of his coat. That sent Lathrop out of the saddle and sprawling in the thorny underbrush. Wade Tanner assumed command and tried to rally the demoralized.
Ano, dali mo nga dito yung ano ko.
We outnumber them.
Tara dyan.
As swiftly as they had descended on the Flatlanders, the mountain-wise wranglers set off on a fast run toward the distant ranch. Tanner was quick to seize upon it.
Oh, no, get it. Run into the ground.
Numbly,
Tingnan mo, papa mo doon, baka wala nang inom.
Chenoweth's and Boston Dots began to comply.
Someone get me out of here.
Dan, James, Johnny Big
Wade
Big,
Tanner
10,
hurried to do just
11.
that. When a ruffled leaf-bedecked Phineas Lathrop rose out of the spiny brambles, he looked furiously off in the
Wala nga.
direction Smoke Jensen had taken.
Bawal ako sa asin, di ba?
Nagkakain ka.
Smoke Jensen and his hands led the waterfront band of hoodlums off on a merry chase, one that the men of the Sugarloaf enjoyed a hell of a lot.
James,
Not the same could be said for those
Johnny
who
Big
followed,
Big.
though. From a vantage point above a box canyon into which the unwitting Eastern garbage had been led, Smoke studied their antics.
Any bets as to how long before they realize the only way out is back the way they came?
Not me, Smoke.
Smoke gave Hank Bowers a fleeting smile.
What about you boys?
kanino ka Dan? Milet, kanino ka Dan? Dan, 8, 9, 10. John.
We'll pick up the main body and lead them right to the Sugarloaf over the west slope.
The light
January
smile
3.
lighted the faces of the Sugarloaf riders. They knew very well what waited for the invaders.
Busy na ako. Work na ha. Nasa work now. Sige, sige, sige. Din, din, din. Salamat. Bumimban. Dan, 11, Sir DJ. Merlita, Dan. Lagyan mo mayang dulo, Milit ha.
Beyond that, they chased to the left and negotiated another such opening.
Lulani.
Widened between pursuers and
James
pursued.
Idnani.
It all worked the way Smoke Jensen had expected. A hard-riding mass of gunmen advanced at best possible speed, unaware that they were being channeled into an increasingly narrow passage. Surprise registered on the faces of those in the lead when the fleeing ranch hands reined in and dismounted halfway up another slope, twin to the one down which they rumbled. Concealed rifle pits suddenly took on life. It was too much for the city-bred gunfighters. Retreat! Once beyond the ridge and safely out of range and sight of the deadly shots they had faced, Lathrop halted his mob.
We're pulling back to the top here. There's too many of them. I walk in and Finnegan and two men to keep a watch on this approach. I wasn't even aware of it, I'll admit. Now we know, and we'll find a way to take advantage. Now Wade, I want you to take 6 men and go after Smoke Jensen. If he's taken out of the action permanently, those gunmen he's hired won't have any reason to stay here and protect the ranch. Who'll pay them? Right away, folks.
The 7 men quickly rode out.
All right. For the time being, I want the rest of you to break up into groups of 8 or 9 and go out and terrorize this whole countryside. We can draw Smoke Jensen out that way. Here where we can kill him. And we have another advantage in such an act. With a little help from a friendly newspaper editor in Denver, the blame for your rampage will fall
Dan
on
11,
Smoke
12,
Jensen.
13.
Over the next few days, the Sugarloaf knew relative peace, but not so the surrounding countryside. Smoke Jensen soon found himself busy protecting his neighbors from Phineas Lathrop's predators. Since by the time news could be relayed to the Sugarloaf, it would be too late. Watching over the beleaguered ranchers of the northwestern corner of Colorado kept Smoke constantly in the saddle. Half a dozen of his hands rode his circuit counterclockwise.
Dan 11,
his
12,
schedule.
13.
It
Son.
kept everyone busy trying to counteract the outrages directed by Phineas Lathrop, like the one Smoke Jensen had stumbled into only a minute ago. Some 25 miles west of the Sugarloaf, Smoke came upon a trail sign of 8 horses, each with a moderate burden, ridden fast toward the location of a ranch owned by Cyrus Hammer. Cyrus and Smoke had been friends for years. The portly gray-haired Hammer had been in the high lonesome nearly as long as Smoke. Now, it looked like Cyrus Hammer had become the next target of Lathrop's terror. Although saddle-weary, Smoke picked up Dandy's pace. He was still a half a mile off when he saw the initial white puff of smoke rise. In these thick stands of resinous pines and firs, any fire could get quickly out of hand. Smoke burst into the clearing with a 6-foot in each hand, his reins looped around the saddle horn. 2 hard cases had Cyrus's foreman on the ground, savagely beaten. The other 5 outlaws had spread out behind any sort of cover they could find and exchanged shot with Cyrus Hammer and his wife. Smoke's sudden arrival instantly disrupted their strategy. 2 of them made the mistake of turning to confront the new threat. A rifle roared in the shuttered window, and another of the outlaws flopped face first in the barn. Smoke turned his attention to the others who remained out of the line of sight of Cyrus Hammer, but it appeared they had all they wanted of this encounter. Smoke holstered his offhand 6-gun and set to reload the other peacemaker. While he did, he reflected on what a fitting name the Colt people had come up with. Things were definitely a lot more peaceful around the Hammer Ranch after the proper application of the Big 45. Over the past few days, Wade Tanner and his 6 men had been following Smoke Jensen by a distance of a half a day. Try as he might, Tanner could not close the gap, at least not until Smoke accepted the hospitality of the Hammers. From the far side of the cleared meadow where the Hammer Ranch headquarters had been established, Wade Tanner watched Smoke Jensen's broad back blend in with the dark forest of pines. Quickly, he sorted out what should be done.
This ranch is on Mr. Lathrop's list of those to be raided. It looks like Smoke Jensen ran off the boys that were supposed to do it. That was him over the far side. We're gonna fix his wagon and start to shore. Look, I want you to come with me. Rest you boys wait here until we come back.
Dan
Take care
12.
of this place too.
In order to avoid detection, Tanner and Rucker skirted around the ranch, screened by the trees. Back on the trail, they rode hard to make up for lost time. Late afternoon found Smoke Jensen in a solitary camp under a large rock overhang that provided shelter from the elements. A light rain had started around 4:30 and has plagued him ever since. Smoke heard the two men approaching. Quickly, he shielded the low blaze with a ground cloth, but his action had not come quick enough. Slowly, Smoke regained his night vision. Although sundown remained a good hour off, heavy clouds had blackened the skies, making it seem like midnight. Smoke strained his hearing to detect the least sound from the darkness beyond his shelter. The darker shape on the trail directly below the overhang resolved itself into the form of a man. The figure had arms upraised as though holding a rifle. Smoke immediately unshook his right-hand .45 Colt. He sighted in on the unseen killer and waited. The blast illuminated the shoulders and head of the assassin. That was all Smoke needed.
Regine Lozano. Mega mega love shout out Ma'am Regine Lozano.
Smoke wisely kept silent. He cautiously eased himself downward over the rain-wet pine needles.
Dan 13, the stone.
Smoke held his silence while the seconds ticked off. Then, slowly, he made out the figure of a big
Matagal ka na po nag-start ng pa-entry po? Opo, matagal na po. Pero yung bula po nito, December pa po, ma'am. Regine. December pa po ito, ma'am.
Face with a large nose, rabbity teeth, and slick back black hair seemed to ripple from the effect of flickering flames. Made him look like a damn rope.
Ikay, 14,
Thin
15,
wisps of
16.
mustache twitched in a rat-like manner. Dark eyes that could be ebony in color cut from side to side, measuring the surroundings.
What say, Jensen? You man enough to face me? Trying to sneak away into the dark? This storm's ending. I estimate I'll have the best part of an hour.
Bakit po, Ma'am Regine?
You grab it on me.
Open pa rin kami sa sponsor, Ma'am Regine.
Few feet down onto the trail, they came to his boots. He walked into the light.
What's your name? How you want to know?
I like to know the names of the men I killed.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm Wade Tanner, and I'm about to become the man who gunned down Smoke Jensen.
There's a lot of others who say the same thing. Only you can't hear it from them anymore. You want to open the dance?
Goddamn right. Well, what do I have to do? You to not finish me off.
Stop trying to kill me, you damn fool.
All right. All right.
Dan natin doon na sa harvest
Answer
time.
some questions.
Look, Jensen.
Where can I find Phineas Lathrop?
You don't have to Lathrop, huh?
I reckon to put a stop to this here brain scheme.
Lathrop.
Thank you so much sa 8 million. Dan 11, 12, 13. Sabi mo, nasa trabaho ka.
Lathrop rode with us for a few days. And then you and your hands made our men reconsider and retreat. Lathrop went back to Denver. He's living his woes in a palatial mansion. Middleton found for them somewhere in Denver.
Not anymore.
By that time, Wade Tanner had worked his left hand behind his back to where he could wrap his long
Genre TV.
fingers around the small bird head grip of a Henderson and Richards 38 tilt top that he carried for a backup. He waited for an incautious moment that Smoke Jensen.
Salamat sa 8 million natin dyan. Katol, gani akong kamot. Giapay mo, bibad.
Was just a tad too slow.
Never could buy a seat.
9 million, thank you so much guys. Sa 9 million natin dyan.
Headed back to the Sugarloaf. He decided to go on his own to Denver to hunt down Phineas Lathrop and his partners.
10 million, thank you so much sa 10 million.
Outlaw Legion, Smoke announced his intention to go after the would-be empire builder. I'm coming with you.
No, I think it would be better if you stayed here.
Remember when I told you that you on my story? Nothing's changed.
Alon Vlogs, mega love, shout out to you sir, Alon Vlogs.
Just kidding, dear. All right, damn it. You're in.
When he and Allie got to Denver, Smoke Jensen prevailed on his friendship with Silas Green at the Denver Livestock Exchange. If that failed to produce results, he knew he could rely on Captain
Dan
Pat
Motoron.
Patterson of the Denver Police. Silas Green responded to the question of a Victor Middleton making a recent purchase of a mansion with a long silence. His full lips pursed and relaxed as he ran
Haha,
through his copious knowledge of the
nadakpan na jud.
I'm not sure he's your man.
RMB Vlogs, mega love, shout out. Wow, nagpamimber ang yatay. Mambunal. Hoy, KM, kumusta ka na? Yatay ka KM, ang tagal ang kapanahunan ah.
Same initials. Could it be Victor Middleton has a monogram Gladstone or some such item he can't part with? He needed to keep that VM in his name. It's worth a try.
Nganong nagkalo ka man, bunal?
Where's the place?
Unsaon man para matakpan ang dangas ba giatay ka man oy. Wala na ko kabisita sa imong kuan ba? KM.
Smoke's visit to Pat Patterson proved to be even more.
Dako na siguro kayo yung channel no.
Smoke has stated his
Who's
purpose
good?
as
Eat bedtime na.
Virgin Medford.
Sige po, salamat po.
Mansion on Gold Hill only last week. I think he's the
Super
one-
hot ka kasi mambunal. Kaya nagkalo kay init giatay.
Now, wait a minute.
Dan DJ.
Warrant for something that's up to the law to bring him in.
I don't think there's anything law can prove Middleton's done.
Bisita mambunal. Oh, titingnan ko mamaya yung ano mo. Next time na lang. Salamat po Sir Alon Vlog.
Harbor recruitment.
Again, there's so far only my word against Lathrop's. But you flush your mouth out.
Musta naman ka ante? Gikan may nagpatambaw ganiha dong.
Have your ways.
Sisi yung 16 na iba mo na
I'm dangerous enough.
naibaba mo na kanina yun eh.
Best to sort of plug any
Huh?
holes. That come along too.
Sino ba yung 16 si Koy?
Characters lounged around
Dan
the
just
small
will.
stone gate.
Ganiha ra ka ante. Oo, isang oras ako dong.
Large wrought iron barriers which denied
Ngano man mambunal.
access to the average person to a wide
Ang sakit eh.
narrow drive of the Hampstead House.
Ang giatay ako hinoy mong utangan, ako'y mangutang nimo giatay.
Followed by a dark blue Denver PD paddy wagon. You folks have an appointment? We don't need an appointment. Captain Patterson,
Hindi.
Denver Police, and U.S. Marshal Jensen.
Ay, hindi pala si Sikoy. Oh.
Jensen, are you going to open that gate? No one else to say so from Mr. Middleton. Mention the gate.
Oh, I think you are.
The lock on the gate shattered under the impact of Smoke's bullet. The gate slowly swung
Sali
open.
Tribino, tatlo.
The paddy wagon rolled on. Smoke
Bad kaayo lang ba ng mambunal. Mamalikas ka piste. Giatay ka. Otro pod. O karon pag mong abot gigag tambong. Ah,
Ollie Johnson's pigeon breast.
hoy ako ang pautangon nimo ay giatay.
With a Smith 38 he carried. I don't think we'll get past them by just
Kinapobrihan na jud ko kaadto in town Kim.
There's two of them now. Two hard cases rushed towards the approaching vehicle.
Mag-sponsor ka na lang, oy, mag-sponsor ka sa akin ba?
Denver police, put your hands
Ken.
up and stay out of our way. The hard case continued forward. raising
Salit
his
Ribino.
Smoke took action.
Mag-sponsor ka ba? Giatay naman, oy. Dan Paul Pack, number 16. Nalista ko na si Sikoy, yung tatlong nilagay mo doon.
Another thug appeared in the open and made tall double doors at the front of the mansion. He quickly
Walay kwarta, giatay, way kwarta.
Lawman jumped
Ikaw pa mo way kwarta, nagway ni mo, oy.
main building.
Karon pang December, labihay dyan siya. Wala na ba ko kabisita dito kang kuan? Sana all. Grabe mga aktor ang napita oh.
Even with 3 shots fired into the door and brass plate, the door still failed to yield.
Ang giatay mao may nung ako ari may nung mangutang. Dan just pasukli. Utang ako mambunal para i-sponsor nimo. Giatay ka. 15, 16, 17. 17.
They sense danger and they tend to head for higher ground. Patterson
18.
nodded toward an elegant curve and
Sir
staircase
Alon.
that led to the balcony that surrounded the grand entrance hall and beyond to the second floor. I'm way ahead of you. 2 men popped up over.
Grabe ang mga ano niya eh. Nagkasamot, magkagwapo kiim.
No further resistance from the railed half floor and continued on to the second level. At the head of the stairs, they paused a moment to orient themselves. Using hand signals, Smoke Jensen silently dispatched Captain Patterson along one hallway and Ollie down another. And he took the third wing of the mansion. He didn't need to go far to encounter trouble. Jensen!
Sana all nagsamot og kagwapo.
Forward roll and came up facing his back shooting assailant. Suddenly, the door banged open behind the big
Nagsamot og kagwapo.
Smoke dove to the side, but he quickly came to his feet, aiming at the man who had fired on him. Smoke set off after the elusive Phineas Lathrop.
Aho na kang gibaba, bakit nagbaba ka pa dyan? Ayan nga, nandyan ka nga.
Gunshots at the gate. His boys.
RMB.
Here's the first evidence that conspirators make use of the unique escape route afforded by the Hampstead house. Arnold cabin and
Nagbaba pa talaga siya. Ayan na nga, binaba ko na nga.
strangely enough,
Ayaw padak ang isyo mambunal oy. Gahilom, hilom ragani ko. Giatay ka diha kem. Nalipat ko. Tarong niya Kim, gagway ni mo. Puntahan niyo yan guys. Ayan, binaba ko yung bahay ni Kim dyan at saka ni ano guys, ni RMB at saka ni Sir ano. Sir Alon Vlog. Nalipat ko.
Conspirators took an already prepared set of saddlebags from wooden pegs fitted into the stone walls. With Vic and Middleton at the point, they proceeded to the narrow wall at the far end. There, a cleverly concealed section of the stonework swung inward at a touch.
Ipadako dyan na ano yung isyo nga gwapa ko. Gwapa ka mambunal. Maglagot ko. Wow! Kanael! Giatay. Nagpupunta ka pa doon kay ano? Kay Sisikoy Abe? Sweet Abe, KM? Hindi na ako nakapunta doon eh. KM? Nagtigdong pa ka dito sa iyang live. Wala na ko kadong. Busy ang kayo.
Phineas Lathrop found them to be in a long, seemingly endless tunnel. Blaze marks made of a swatch of whitewash gave them.
Najawa. Nabuang.
Lathrop loathed revealing his fear of close, dark places.
Guwapo ko, ma'am. Maglagot ko. Wow.
With the second floor
Sana all.
out and no sign of Lathrop and company, Smoke was left with a puzzle. Had they run out
Iba ka na kasi, Jawa.
to get into the place?
Sana all may nag-iba.
Looking into. To that end, he led Captain Patterson and Ollie Johnson downstairs and out through the large, well-equipped kitchen. The officers guarding the back gave shakes of their heads.
No, sir, Marshal Jensen. No one came out after we got here. And you can see the ground is clear in all directions for a good 300 yards. They'd have had to fly to get shut of that.
What about those stadiums?
Horse in every stall, Marshal. We done checked.
Then how could they? Unless Lathrop and his partners weren't here when we came calling. Nah, we overlooked something. What makes this place so special?
Wendell Hampstead was a partner in the Galcona Mining Company. At one time, they had 5 mines operating here and in Alder Gulch. Made literally tons of money. When the rainbow played out, Hampstead bought this land and had the house built. Nothing unusual in that.
Kantata, ante, pasok ako be. Di man eh, wa pa ko StreamYard dong, nahurot na. Karon pa ko makakuan, karon pang 27. Wala pa ko StreamYard. Isang linggo pa ko mahigit magantay. Karon pa kung 27 makuan. Magkaroon ng StreamYard.
He always bragged about having the world's largest wine cellar, and that's fine. It took the efforts of all three.
Bunal, biyaan sa ka kay mag-work ko. Sige.
That gave Phineas Lathrop and his partner a full hour head start. A condition that would soon become the haunt smoke.
Ikumusta mo na lang ako kay Sweet Abe ha, Bunal.
On the run constantly after leaving the far side of the mini mountain that housed the Rainbow Mine, they constantly felt the pressure brought to bear by Smoke Jensen.
17, 18, 19.
Tanner, whose death they assumed, they did little to hide their trail. It led due northwest through the Rockies. On the way, they gathered what men Chance Lovell and Ed Miller had to offer. The latter two had taken over for their dead boss, Wade Tanner. Gradually, the lost babes in the woods, led by Sean O'Boyle and Eddie Meeks, began to straggle across their path. On their second day out, Phineas Lathrop had good cause to be thankful for their presence.
Dan
Like a
KM.
wraith, Smoke Jensen appeared out of a low.
Malaki pa naman ang bunal niya ni KM.
Even though it was well after sunup, that bright orb had yet to burn through.
Matagal ko na yan siyang James. Maliit pa lang channel ko na kilala ko yan siya doon kay Sweet Abby. 10 million people in the house. Thank you so much, guys.
After 2 more days of trying to impede Lathrop's progress, Smoke concluded that the trail seemed to be leading somewhere specific. All efforts to drive him in another direction had failed. Trouble was, Smoke could not put his finger on the destination. He found himself out of dynamite and low on ammunition, so he decided to break off contact for a short while and resupply. By his reckoning, the small town of Hurley, Wyoming, lay not 5 miles off the indicated course taken by Lathrop and the remainder of his eastern gang. Smoke rode there with expectations of a hot bath, ample fresh supplies, and a stove-cooked meal. Unfortunately, his high hopes were doomed to disappointment. The Smoke got his bath at the Hurley barbershop, left off his list to be filled at the General Mercantile.
17, 18, 19.
Points along the back trail addressed to Monty Carson. Then he headed for the only saloon to wash away the trail dust and powder residue. He entered the bar room in his usual cautious manner. A leather safety thong slipped off both his 6 guns, and a casual though penetrating glance to all corners of the room.
Give me a beer.
The moment Smoke entered, he noted one probable trouble spot. Seated in the far corner by a painted-over window, their backs to the wall, the 3 young men, obviously drifters. The Smoke turned away.
Jonebet, ayun hapon, mayong hapon. Maraming salamat sa iyo, Jonebet.
The one in the middle produced a flyer and showed it smugly to his companions.
I tell you, Tim, I'll fix the collector's reward on that late for you.
Mention of Lathrop's name advised Smoke that he had become the topic of conversation. Put him on that fine, keen edge that wouldn't.
11 million people in the house. Thank you so much, guys.
Chances were that he could talk him out of anything deadly. Then again, he told himself that 100 times before. He kept his eyes fixed on the back bar and waited for things to develop. It did not take long.
You boys spread out.
Emski TV, mega love shout out. Kumusta dong? Dan RMB. Salamat dong, Emski.
You don't know us, but we know you. We love you, that is.
James.
When we figure on cashing in on that real.
Pa-entry ka dong?
And just who the hell do you think I am?
Smoke Jensen, that too.
Well, boys, this is indeed not your lucky day. Because I am Smoke Jensen.
11 million people in house. Thank you so much. MLSO sa lahat. Sabi ni Dodong Emski TV.
Shrink back against the wall as far out of the line of fire as possible. Those deadly words of verification electrified Buck Singleton into the worst and last error he ever committed. His long, slender fingers curled around the butt grip of his hog leg. Before Buck's body hit the floor, Smoke turned to the nearest of the dead drifter's companion. Buck Singleton's last living friend's face went ashen, eyes wildly darting from object to object without clear focus. He seemed gradually to become aware of the weight of a six-gun in his hand. Moving with the lethargy of the aged, he raised his right thumb and ever so slowly veered back the hammer. The local law arrived about 5 minutes later.
Busy lang ko host na ako sa work. Okay lang. Salamat. 20.
Waddled through the bat wings and stared with pink-rimmed eyes at the carnage in the corner. Wet lips, colored too dark a red, formed a sort of rose petal pout.
Dan, bro, dan ako. RMB.
Smoke Jensen.
Sure you are.
The marshal looked at the bodies of the 3 dead men.
Whoever you are, you're cold. Mighty cold.
You want to see cold, Marshal? I'll show you. What the hell? 3 full kids who thought they were good with a gun are dead because of a cold-hearted son of a bitch who offered an unauthorized bounty for my head.
What do you know about the law to say whether our reward is on the
11 million. Thank you so much, guys.
Anywhere. Phineas Lathrop is a highbinder who's set on taking over a large chunk of Colorado in High Lonesome. And he doesn't care how many people he killed in the process. Also, I'm a deputy U.S. Marshal.
I'm your other killers with a badge.
You think I'm cut of the same cloth?
You might be.
I guarantee you I'm not. But that's not enough. So the wire down the line, Sheriff Monty Carson from Big Rock, Colorado. He's following me up with a posse. Go vouch for him.
Maybe he will. Maybe he won't.
Salamat sa 11 million. Just will Raketera. Paralon, talon, ang signal. Miga love, shout out to you. Next, paghuwat bakikay. Si atay talaga tas bakikay, oy.
Deep lines etched into the face of Phineas Lathrop by worry, eased and smoothed out as a beatific smile spread on his face for the first time in 5 days. He cut his eyes to the informant who had brought him the splendid news.
You're sure of this? Yeah, I was in the saloon when the shooting started. Man said he was Smoke Jensen. Marshal took him off to jail for his door to be checked out.
MLSO sa lahat nandito, sabi ni RMB. Miga love, shout out sa 11 million natin dyan. Thank you so much, guys, ha? 23. 24. Yung 21. Okay lang yan, Bakikay. Sana all 2K na ang views. Giatay, daming views. Sarap ng ganyan.
Good man, and prudent too. I can always use someone like you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some preparations to make.
After a brief, detailed conference with Bannon and Dane of the late-weight Tanner's crew, and O'Fallon and Killian of O'Boyle's gang, Lathrop wished them good luck and sent them on their way.
Where are they going? I sent them to deal with Smoke Jensen, but there's nothing he can do from inside a jail cell. It'd be like shooting fish in a bathtub.
Salamat, Emski. Puntahan nyo yan, guys, ha, si Emski, guys. Nakilala ko yan doon kay, si Smell.
Smoke sat in the small jail cell,
As the usual symphony of crickets and katydids outside the barred window.
20, 21, 22, done po.
Conscious of possible danger close at hand, the big rangy gunfighter flattened himself against the bars at a right angle to the small window high up in the outside wall. He listened intently. Moving soundlessly on stockinged feet, Smoke climbed onto the narrow bunk and peered through the tiny barred window. His eyes already adjusted to
Lista na, na-lista na.
figure of a man who made a clumsy attempt at moving silently toward
Baba ko
the
si
jail.
Emski.
Then he saw another man on the opposite side of the passageway. Beyond him, a moment later, he made out a third form. More at home in the city, the nearest pair came forward in relative silence. Smoke watched them with cold amusement. When they reached the plastered-over stone wall, they paused, fist on hips, and stared upward at the black rectangle of the window. Smoke figured that they knew that any attempt to climb the wall would make noise. One of them turned and made a come-here gesture to the third skulker. That one seemed to melt into the shadows and advance with the perfect quiet of a frontiersman. When he reached the two beneath the barred window, they put their heads together and discussed the situation. The third man slipped off his spurs and climbed onto their backs. Smoke crept back as the figure rose up the window. A face appeared in the opening above Smoke. The barrel of a six-gun soon followed. Acting with legendary speed, Smoke Jensen reached up with both hands and snatched
Salamat sa 7 million.
would-be assassin.
What's for dinner?
Hold it right there. Suddenly, another
Ah?
man appeared in the mouth of
Chicken
the
again.
four horses. The range of one block
Chicken again.
slipped off any further gunplay.
I can't hear you.
Yet Brewster's pale white
TV's
face
too
was
loud.
working in agitation, emphasized by the flickering light of a coal oil
Chicken
lamp.
again.
Chicken again.
Where'd you get that gun? Who's the shooter?
One at a time, Marshal. First off, 3 men tried to kill him. Gun away from the one who climbed up to the window and shot him. Then
Now, later.
he led along with the one shooting wrong.
I'll take that gun now. I'll be happy to read it.
Ready?
He did.
That answer me this. How do I know they didn't come?
Well, you gotta have like, is the sun in here or what? Shut up your lights.
I was live here.
Oh. I thought maybe you gave me sunburn. Shut up your lights.
20, 21, 22, 20,
Look into this.
20, 22, 22 of
You have
comments.
to wear a hat to be under light.
Because I want to cover my forehead. Because it's too big. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The morning brought Smoke Jensen hard biscuits and gluey gravy. But it also brought a telegram from Monty Carson. Here Brewster looked almost
Banjilin, yung niluluto mo.
Smoke Jensen's cell. He stared pointedly at the untouched.
Dalaw-dalawin mo yung niluluto mo dito.
Just like you said it would. I verify person you are holding is U.S. Marshal Trump Jensen. He's in pursuit of
23, 24, 25, 26. Done. Okay, saglit lang. Hindi pa ko tapos kisali.
along with a gang numbering some 35 men. They're wanted in Colorado for murder, arson, and numerous other crimes. Please give Marshal Jensen your fullest cooperation.
Are in the...
And will provide paperwork that you can get done before Marshal Jensen went in pursuit of the gang. He is to wait there for me. And it's signed Monty Carson. So I guess I gotta let you out. Thing I can't figure is how are you gonna stop that many men?
I can only try. Actually, I'm glad there's a posse coming on behind me. Should be less than a day from here. With Monty and a young Eastern reporter.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'll do that. I heard once you took on 20 men single-handed. Is that right?
Nah, it was only 16. I'll thank you for my guns now, Marshal.
Yes. All right. But you and me, Mr. Jensen.
Call me Smoke. Now, I do have to be going.
Right enough. And if you get back this way, you look me up the hip. We can jaw over old times.
Ah, sure. Count on it, kid.
Half an hour later, Smoke set off from delivery. Actually, Monty accompanying that posse bothered him. Monty was slowing down a bit. Smoke didn't want his old friend to take the risks involved in tracking down Lathrop, so he wasted no time and departed in a hurry. He'd been given the directions taken by Lathrop's gang and set his course northward. Although he admitted he needed help to corral
Diyan na
so
po
many hard
pasukli.
cases, he sort of hoped
Susuklian ka niyan, Imbe. Huwag ka mag-alala.
he wouldn't catch up.
Mabait yan si Ibski.
He'd grown to like the fiery young journalist, and he didn't enjoy the thought of anything happening to him. Lathrop's trail led northward, then cut sharply west to the neighboring town of Burley, Wyoming. Smoke Jensen-
Pulano, mega love. Shout out to you, Pulano.
Saloons and barbershops being the best sources of
Shout out po sa lahat. Peace, all right.
Clean shaven jaw and decided on Gold Bucket Saloon. Smoke spoke with a talkative bartender about the similarity of city names.
Yep, there's a method to our madness, I reckon you could say.
I thought there might be. The two towns only 5 miles apart.
Well, now, sir, it used to be one town. Political differences between the Lee family turned to real rancor over some long forgotten matter. And folks moved out, settled here.
Let me guess the name of the original town. Burley.
Right on the nail there. Well, sir, he took half the folks and half the name too.
Original, to say the least.
Here it is. Big people of Earth. When we moved out.
Not much. What'd you hear?
Some gunfighter came to town, so to say. He was evidently on pride. Called out 3 youngsters in here in Burley.
That isn't the way it happened.
I say it is.
No, mister. It's
Ay,
not.
nako.
The 3 of them called out someone they thought was one man. They drew first. He had to do better.
I say you're a liar. Who was this gunfighter who was supposed to be faster than Buck, Larry, and Hal?
Smoke Jensen.
Horse shit. Smoke Jensen ain't nowhere near here.
Salamat po. Bakas lang po kayo. Balikan ko po kayo. Nasa work pa. Hehe.
What do you say, boy?
Dan 27, bagong dikit.
The table nodded their heads in unison. During the entire exchange, the bartender had been cutting his eyes from the friars to Smoke and then back again. He looked hard at Smoke's craggy jaw, calm demeanor, and cool gray eyes. Then he looked at the nervous twitches and ticks of the half-grown saddle tramps.
I don't think you're gonna have to go over there, Harper. Oh yeah? Why not?
Thanks, Dan Sukle, sa bumisita. Motorola TV. Thank you so much. Sally.
He's just a bag of wind with no brain behind it. He ain't no gunfighter. He's a nobody. I'll ask him his name.
29.
What's your name, Mr. Mouse?
Dana po.
You really are Smoke Jensen?
Yep, I am.
I'm not sorry. I got tipsy with you.
Christy Silang Manalo. Palista po. Thumbs up. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Christy.
They pushed.
Taglit lang ha. May bababa pa ako. 29:30.
Yeah, for them.
It don't have to repeat itself.
Wow. You're absolutely right, Mr. Jason. Matter of fact, we were just leaving. Right, boys?
3 heads nodded in unison again.
Thanks for the meeting, Mr. Jensen. Have a good afternoon.
Tall columns with black bottoms and white angle heads climbed tens of thousands of feet into the azure sky to the northwest. Like scouts ahead of a military movement, long roiling fingers of the gathering mass tumbled across.
Jacket Manalo. Ante, saglit lang. Nag-ano pa ako ng kuha, ng link. Saglit. Yun. Yun. May jacket na yan si ano si Christy. Christy silang, mayroon ka na pong jacket. Dan sa nakapin. Oh, ang dami. Binaba ko pa ulit pa iba-ibang video ng mga sponsor para ano. Kikay. Kasi ilang araw ako hindi naka-live si Sikoy.
collar of his sheepskin jacket as a jet of cold air
Okay,
squirted
let's-
out on the forward wall of the temple.
Christy, dan sa nakapin.
Smoke rose. And once Smoke began
Lagyan-
to look for someplace to take shelter. As a youth,
Lagyan niyo po ng mayang yung dulo guys ha, para
he knew of abandoned fur trappers' cabins, large rock overhangs, and an occasional cave. It was this latter he was looking for now.
salamat silang sa pagpunta mo, sabi ni RMB. Thank you, Sarap. Thank you so much, ma'am, silang.
Flashes of light could be seen in the overcast that spread toward them at an alarming rate. He touched blood spurs to Danny's flanks and urged more speed. Smoke could physically sense the change in pressure. Smoke Jensen screwed the hat tighter onto his head, his eyes busy searching for anything in the anticipated caves.
Parang may tao ata.
He began to reduce for Smoke. If he didn't find the cave,
Yung niluluto mo ba dyan? Ano nang nangyari?
out in this mess. 2 minutes and a half miles sped by when Smoke thought he
Tignan mo kung may sabaw pa ba, wala.
against the fluffy gray of the canyon wall. He drew near and located a narrow ledge that formed a path to the entrance of the cave.
Entryhan ba yan, ma'am? Opo, ma'am, Christy.
Jittery mouth up to the hoped-for shelter. Smoke had to duck to enter, as did his horse.
Mga sponsor po, binababa ko po.
Once they were beyond the low opening, the cave widened as the ceiling arched high above. Smoke ground
Naka-off comment daw po yung binaba niyo po, ma'am, silang.
with a treated pistol down to light a candle he took from his right side saddlebag. With the limited glow of the wax taper, he searched his surroundings. He soon discovered that he was not the first human occupant of the cavern. Powdery dry billets of wood lay in a natural crib. With a stick of that and some kerosene from a tin flask in his gear, Smoke fashioned a torch. The walls and part of the ceiling covered with petroglyphs, stick pictures of animals and men, carved and crudely painted with natural dyes.
Men Valencia, Dan Dikit, ma'am. Salamat po, ma'am, Men Valencia.
Their original vivid color. Smoke Jensen found himself cave man.
Men Valencia.
Creatures showed him examples carved in rock faces before. Man and the sun and animals that could have been.
Isang video na lang po.
The old mountain man had also spoken of such rare
28, 29, 30, 31. Ano po, ma'am, Christy?
people who had lived in these caves long before the coming of the Spanish and other Europeans. Some said, the preacher went on, they had been here before the coming of the Indians too. Smoke continued to examine the cave. He found some non-representational designs too. Perhaps some sort of religious symbol.
Nilakasan ko kasi kung marami pang sabaw, perting hinaan. Ano yun?
The elderly smoker, he estimated, was burned faster than hell and was keeping busy replenishing the fuel. Once he had his blaze going, Smoke stripped to the buff and laid out his clothing to dry. Wisps of steam rose from coat, shirt, vest, and trousers as the rocks they lay upon heated up. Smoke made his way to the mouth of the cave. Careful study revealed why the entrance was so low. Over the years,
Sally Trevino. Ma'am, men, meron ka na pong jacket, ma'am.
intertwined tree roots had attracted more soil. At present, a huge pine dominated the overhead shelf. From slightly inside, Smoke could see the stone arch of the cave's natural mouth, partly buried in dirt, pebbles, and roots. Once more, it gave him pause to marvel at the intricacies of nature.
Grace Espinosa, ano po meron dito, ma'am? Bunutan ba yan? Opo, sa ano po, sa Grand LS this coming December po, ma'am. Chris. Ramsak Espinosa.
Then he returned to his car. And the rich aroma made his stomach cramp. He broke out a smoked shank of deer meat and a couple of cold biscuits. It was going to have to do for both of them. While he ate, Storm sent a second front sweeping down from Wyoming.
May jacket ka na po, ma'am Chris.
When he completed his Spartan meal, he retrieved the collapsible bucket he had set outside and gave Dandy a long drink. There was nothing poured down but to make himself comfortable. Darkness had replaced day with the coming of the storm. Smoke Jensen estimated it would remain until long after sundown. He unstrapped his bedroll and spread the blankets on the hard floor of the cabin.
With his saddle as a pillow,
Tribino,
Smoke leaned back,
Chris.
rolled a quarter
Thank you so much sa 8 million. Silang dan na po, pasukli please, sabi ni RMB.
extinguished it, put out the torch, and settled into a long-needed silent sleep.
Inulit ko kasi wala akong
Only after he awakened,
live nung nakaraang araw, kaya inulit ko yung mga ano ng sponsor.
path out of the cavern impeded by a large pine that had fallen during the night.
The hell did I not wake up for this?
For both himself and
Thanks,
his
MB. Min mo ba yan? Oh, min nyo yan, ano? Reste.
He pulled gloves from his hip pocket and slid long, thick fingers into the supple leather. Then he started to climb the rough bark of a down pine. Thin and resinous odor assailed his nostrils. It smelled fresh and clean. Quite a contrast to the mud-slicked surface he wriggled upon. The 5-foot thick trunk left space enough for light and air to enter the cave. He let Smoke get his head and arms through the opening, but then his shoulders hung up.
34.
The harder he struggled, the more tightly he became wedged in the restrictive mouth of the cave. Anger, fire, determination for Smoke.
Lagyan yung mayang dulo guys ha, pag mag ano kayo guys, bakas.
He reversed his left arm and tried to reach past his shoulder to the big coffin-handled Bowie knife.
Okay, okay ano, Christy, saglit. Ibababa ko yung ka-RMB.
With renewed patience, he began to pick and dig at the damp soil that denied him movement. That too proved of no avail.
Nagnanakaw ng manok.
The boys came from below Smoke's line.
Nagnakaw na naman ng manok, RMB.
Up in the tree.
Don't be such a jackass. Do something to help me.
Smoke knew that voice.
10 million people in the house. Thank you so much, guys. 11 million people. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you.
Hell yes, you could be of assistance to me. Get me out of here.
Luke, the wolf, whose real name was Rainer Duchamp, studied Smoke's predicament from up close. An old friend of preacher, Luke had been ancient when young Smoke Jensen had first met him. He looked not a day older now. His hair, worn in a long, thick braid at the back of his head, seemed no grayer than during that initial encounter. Nor had it seemed a leathery face and bright blue eyes changed.
28, 29, 30, 31.
With amusement at a world gone mad, and under a jutting ridge furrowing with salt and pepper brows.
Okay, RMB copy.
But he looked and sounded 50. And he carried himself like a man that age, too. Duchamp stretched and bent to study the restricting material that held Smoke fast.
You are fortunate, boy. We can own the whole parking lot like a brick on the street.
It may be nothing for you, but I'm the one who's stuck here.
You can only for a moment now. They're careful about the chocolate, yo. We're going to be eating.
Of course he did.
RMB apat.
And he won't have any air to breathe before long.
Oh,
Binawi in terms. Thank you so much sa 8 million dyan. Maraming salamat.
With that, Luke popped out of Smoke's view, but he was back in 3 minutes.
Dan RMB, wow naman. Malapit ka na. Mag 1K. Sabi ni Ma'am Christy.
Joviality grated on the raw nerves while the energetic oldster toiled with pick and shovel to open the way for Smoke.
Wow. People take an axe.
No. There'll be more meat than root in the back of that blade.
Take your ease, Mormon. I need to put away from the bowl. Let the bowl drop lower. Then you can crawl out.
20 minutes later,
Gamay nagkuwang ihamo, ano na? 40 na lang dyan kapin.
sank into the newly created hole. Quickly, Smoke crawled his way to freedom.
bring up your minutes. I'm worried about the horse.
The jerry-rigged harness fitted the mule with an unlikely collection of
8 million people in the house. Thank you so much, guys.
leather portions, ropes led to the trunk of the plastic, each secured around its girth. Smoke Jensen and Bernard Duchamp both inspected them and concluded their satisfaction.
Oh, let's read pull! Goddamn, put your backs into it now! Pull, you sons of whores!
Those two powerful animals took up the slack and leaned into their harness.
Well then, that is so. Now tell me, boy.
Done 32, 33, 34.
Smoke Jensen carefully laid out the threat to the high lonesome posed about Phineas Lathrop and his gang.
Yes, monsters, my friend Smoke. Say there are how many? 34? And what you must do is keep on that track. Now, I should go off and round up a little help.
Toby Pass at over 9,000 feet.
Done 32, 33, 34.
Through the Rockies by Maine. From the summit, Phineas Lathrop studied the horizon in both directions. He nodded in apparent approval of his thoughts. He summoned Sean O'Boyle with a crook of one finger.
Yes, sir, Mr. Lathrop. I want you to select 12 of your best. You want to stay here, erect the roadblock, and hold off Smoke Jensen. Sure he's coming. You can count on it, Mr. O'Boyle. Not to worry, though. Given the narrowness of this pass and a well-made barricade, I have every confidence that a baker's dozen of you can withstand any attack by one gunfighter, a broken-down old sheriff, and a green kid reporter. And when would you be expecting this? Within a day, 2 at the most. So you had better get busy, and, good luck.
O'Boyle's black glower told Phineas what he thought of that wish. But O'Boyle turned, nevertheless, and began to pick the men he wanted with him. He regretted he could not choose Amon Finnegan. Amon was the only one who could keep the rest in line. He settled for Connor O'Fallon, James Finnegan, Liam O'Toole, Brian Gallagher, and Henry Dugan among the first 6 he named off. He called them together and began to explain their assignment as the rest of the severely reduced column rode off to the west toward Jackson's Hole. Shortly after sundown, Maloof and 3 men of equal age glided silently under the camp made by Smoke Jensen.
Hello, the care!
Hello yourself. Come on in, Rainer.
How you know it's me?
Oh, I heard you stumbling, fumbling around out there.
Well, goddamn your high, you know.
RMB 32, 33, 34.
Duchamp turned to the trio squatting across the fire.
Congrats RMB, sana all talaga. May pumunta ba, Motorol? Binaba kita kaganina.
Good of you to come. Hell, didn't take much thinking on. Appears to me to be the only fight around. That's true. Pardon me. But where's this Lathrop that the Luke was telling us about? He's from the
RMB
East
Blanc.
Months.
Smoke went on to detail what he knew of Lathrop's grandiose scheme, omitting the personal side of the conflict.
11 million people, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
Offered their allegiances in their own ways.
Well, time's a wasted, if you ask me. Well, we're getting close to Jackson's Hole. Whoa, sorry about that. Lord, we had some high good time.
Bago lang yan si RMB, ano, Motorol. Ang bilis niya nakaano.
Now, that's been nagging at me for some time. I thought they knew anything about this country. I swear that Lathrop was trying to reach Yellowstone.
Or the river, or that wild country with the water stops they made into a no-fuel park.
Either. Both.
Jo,
Thing is, I don't know if Lathrop knows about the country.
Jo,
Well,
Jo,
comes early.
punta ka dito. Ang host ray bahala. Congrats sa silang magpa-member ka na kay host. Silang. Ayan o. Naghanap daw sa kagawad. Ayan o.
Each of the others knew the incident Maloof had brought up and needed no discussion. With a wordless command, Smoke sent Greener Jack off with his 2 companions to approach the path from a slightly different
different angles.
Hindi daw sabi
There was no sense in taking
siya
unnecessary
nagabana.
risks. When the mouse leaned into the grave, Smoke grew even more cautious. He cut his eyes from side to side, looking every rock and bush. With just a black
Pwede naman niya, ano, pwede naman niya replyan doon na kasi nag-grab sila eh. Sabi, pwede naman yan sa ano niya. Sabay ko kami ano, kaya lang nauna kami. Kasi, nag-ano pa sila ng tuloy. Kasi alam naman ni Kagayon, magalis ko yung kagawad yun. Ano kami.
Sino ba yung kagawad? Sige, sabihin ko na lang.
Sabihin mo, ano yun na lang, na sabay kayo pupunta doon. Tapos, nauna lang kayo dahil nag-grab kayo siya, naiwan pa doon dahil balot sila pa ng ano, nag-repack pa ng tuyo para dalhin doon. Alam mo, nagkagawad din, pagalit ko, magkano ako ng tuyo.
I don't know the old puzzle. O'Boyle leveled his rifle, taking aim at Smoke. Yes. Come on, boy. Join in the fun. Now, one of those eastern greenhorns hit what they aimed at. By then, Smoke had closed the range to under 100 yards. Bent low over the neck of the stallion, Smoke sighted along the barrel of the 45 Peacemaker. Jeez, Mary, John, that knife can shoot. You know, that's a many horse. Any more careful, guys? They're getting too close for rifles anyway. Then stand up and use your 6-foot. Reluctant to leave the security of the logs, they did so slowly. The volume of fire increased with 10 revolvers. It caused Smoke and the loot to swerve to one side. It also did another thing. It provided excellent wide open targets for Greener Jack, High Pockets, and Lonesome Brown. It also allowed Smoke and the loot to draw clear of the withering fire.
Good morning there, Mr. Blackfoot. Your Indians stupid enough to drive themselves down behind the workers in trenches.
That's one American trenches. Where it looks otherwise. Always me. You know how long it takes to realize we didn't fire those shots.
I would say 2 or 3 times more if you could.
You don't think too highly of these fellas.
All from proud. It's only that they have such a terrible shot. Call them reasonably terrible.
One shot, we make enough run at them.
All red boots.
Smoke Jensen and the loot you shot appeared over a swell in the face. John O'Boyle struggled to reload his revolver, and when he looked up, he saw the flared nostrils of a horse less than 5 feet away.
There's a boat.
The loot laid Sean O'Boyle low with a vicious pistol whip to the side of the head. Smoke leveled his pistol. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. Soon the 3 other mountain men came down from their ambush spot to join the fray. Those Easterners did not have a chance.
Where's my back scratches?
See if there's any papers.
I'm gonna beat
Something to
somebody.
indicate the leader. Also, where they're
RMB 35, 36, 37, 38.
Suddenly, a hot trail cut across Smoke's back, upward from near his left hip to his shoulder blade.
Apat.
Smoke immediately pivoted on one boot heel until he faced his assailant. Sean O'Boyle lay there, still alive. His eyes widened when he saw that his shot had not had the desired effect.
The rattlesnake was warning the
Si Johnny Bet. Hi, RMB. BJ, si Bakikay.
You'll be partners. Then you'll be knowing that I'm of some importance to Mr. Legend. And it will be to your advantage to keep me alive by it wood.
While he spoke, Sean O'Boyle worked his undamaged left arm under his back. He fixed small, close-set black eyes on Smoke's slate orbs and pressed a shudder at the awful fate he saw reflected in him.
The only advantage I see is the horseshit talk.
Moto, kailan ka magpamember para ang host na ang bahala natin? Sabi ni RMB. RMB Vlog, hello, Johnny.
But if I was to be treated for the war, all nice and proper, then I'll just go on my way, yes. Oh, that's a whole different proposition. Suppose I want to agree. Oh, why then, if we should buy that knowledge, I'd get on my way back to Brooklyn.
Carlitos, pairam nga muna ng ano.
It's not often I come to deal with a piece of horseshit like
Ay,
Often, Smoke considered how to phrase the rest of what he wanted to say. While he did, elation shot through Sean's aching body. He was almost there. His fingertips brushed at the chipped, black, hard rubber grips of the 32 Smith & Wesson.
But, in a hurry, I know if I can bypass later, waiting for me to get there. Go ahead. Tell me what you know, and I'll see you patched up in some way.
Now O'Boyle had it. Captain gripped in his hand. The S&W 32 vanished for a moment. The awful pain that racked Sean O'Boyle's body. He forced a smile.
There's a place Lathrop spoke of, northwest of here, kid. It's called Yellowstone.
O'Boyle's hideout slid free of his waistband. He
35, 36, 37, 38.
The Yellowstone River? No. No, not the river. It's not. It's some sort of park. A place
Sunny
Lathrop said where
Tribune.
hot water shot out of the ground. Can you believe that?
O'Boyle whipped the little revolver free. Smoke felt a pair of hard, painful punches to his belly.
You son of a bitch.
Sunny Tribune.
Oh no, he shot you again!
Nah, only a little bit. I think I'm all right.
Apat si Sikoy.
Lathrop is headed to Yellowstone National Park. I'll leave a message for Lonnie and his posse. Then we'll have to ride hard and fast out just as that gang of vultures.
Not you, my friend. Your back looks like you used a wood plow to cut that frog. But I see no blood in the front.
Lucky, I guess. Belt stuck those little underpowered slugs. Oh, the bruise there. And I'll let something touch my back. Then we're on the move.
For all the physical discomfort he experienced, Smoke Jensen wanted an end to this land grab and to Phineas Lathrop. This had gone beyond mere arrest of a criminal. Good men and some women, too, had died as a result of Lathrop's mad desire to lay conquest to a vast portion of the high lonesome. Smoke Jensen wanted Phineas Lathrop dead. He longed to see the photographs of Lathrop and his lead henchmen laid out in suits, arms crossed over dead chests, on the lids of hastily constructed wooden coffins that rested beside him. Smoke, LaLoop, and the other three thundered through tall ranks of ancient Douglas fir north of Grand Teton and only 20 miles from the heart of Yellowstone country. Along the way, Smoke Jensen kept looking for suitable locations to hole up and do battle. What continued to bother him was why Lathrop had made his goal the nation's first national park. What could he hope to gain from that? Even though they knew for certain now that Lathrop intended all along to go to Yellowstone, it still didn't make sense to Smoke. Not one for long ponderings on the
39, 40, nagiging 50, 51. Giatay ang pag-ihapa.
Smoke and his sidekicks rode past ranks of wagons, each with rows of seats and canvas shade covers, waiting for the daily
Nadiretso mag 50, 51, 39, 40. Ang galing ko magbilang Yung nilagay ko, 39, 40, 50, 51. Nadiretso 50. RMB, apat.
Children, the boys barefoot in short pants, gambling in the meadows. A few fishermen plied the streams.
Hostages. Yeah, grab some innocent people, bargain for some safety and release.
My lord, I think you're all right, Mama.
I reckon it's
Galibog ko eh. Galibog ko. Done all.
They can spread out, board a train, and get away without anyone being suspicious.
Ay, Ginoo. Naglibog yung tagi atay si ano.
I think you should turn back. At least to the south entrance of the park. And wait for Monty and Posse. We need more men, more eyes.
Pick out the wolves from the sheep.
Always persistent, Monty Carson pushed his men as hard as Smoke Jensen and the mountain men had traveled. After discovery of the message at Togety Pass, he had become an unflagging taskmaster. As a result,
Naglibog gani ko si auntie, ambot ni mo.
Monty brought fresh news that energized Smoke.
39.
No one road in here from the south.
Ay, ginoo ko. Balik ko sa kuan, grade 1.
West to come in here. Looks like you rode through Jackson's Hole on the way.
Kaya pala umalis si Kikay kasi nalibog din yung kamunduhan ni Kikay.
The speed they're moving, we had to skirt wide to avoid contact and then cut a lick to get here well before it.
Did you get a count?
Yep, the way I see it, we're about equal in size now.
Good work, Monty. The eye of yours don't miss a thing. You want to wager
40,
everything?
41, 42. 42 lang pala yan.
They've
43.
got to split up, Smoke. The way I see it, they don't want to upset the visitors or draw any attention to themselves.
Binaba ko uli yung mga bahay nila guys kasi
Especially the eastern dudes.
No place for scare tactics.
pang doble-doble ko para walang masabi. Kasi hindi ako naka-live ng ilang araw.
It's late. Drop the head and see the guy.
Smoke turned to Leloup Duchamp and his aging companions.
We'll consider that breaking 5 groups for a start. Each of you take one. Monty and I'll do the same. Monty, you'll divide the posse in 5 groups and keep an eye on liquor for my easy.
Sure thing, Smoke. What about me?
You'll come with me. You've hung in there pretty good so far, Al. Shame for you to miss out on the end of this.
Wood smoke from the 50 or so campsites.
Kaon sa konti, kaon sa habol lang ko konti ha. Okay lang, ara hindi kaon sa diha.
Tangy resin. Pink dawn light permeated
Saan
through
ka ang
the
niluto,
clearings where tents and cabins often sheltered the park visitors. By the time it had diffused through gold to day white, the frying bacon and the savor of brewing coffee made a tempting medley of pleasant scents to the mountain men and volunteer lawmen in Monty Carson's posse. Stomachs rumbled, and even Smoke Jensen allowed us how he could use something to fill his. Common sense and years of experience said to put something away when you could, but the gathering of lawmen, concealed by the trees and undergrowth left standing, set to preparing breakfast. Coffee came first for these hardened outdoorsmen, then fatbacks, beans, eggs obtained from the subway.
Saglit lang guys, salang ko lang to kaya, saglit lang.
Trail bread. Smoke Jensen was wiping the last of the yolk of 3 eggs and some grease from his pan with a partly consumed wedge of the biscuit-like trail bread when the first of Lathrop's gunmen walked their horses into the park. For a moment they stood out, wary looks telegraphing their identities as desperados. Then they made subtle shifts in expression and chatted amongst themselves. Before long, save for the vigilance of the hidden watchers, they would disappeared into the throng of visitors. 3 men set off from the posse to follow them. They reported back that the newcomers went directly to the depot and inquired about the earliest train out of Yellowstone.
Saglit lang guys ha, nagsalang lang ako guys.
Transferred to an eastbound.
That won't be until near noon. We'll let them get settled in. Then, take them all at once. Try not to have any gunplay. I won't tip our hand.
The hoot of the steam whistle announced the day's shipment of gawkers and brave souls who had come to rough it out west. 5 more groups, numbering from 3 to 7, had been identified, and men had been detailed to make the capture. It gave Smoke another idea. He offered it to Monty and Leloup, whose opinions he respected.
I'll keep it as quiet as possible. I'm not letting it board. Once the train pulls out, take them in the hitches. There's a chance of some bystanders being harmed that way.
That sounds like it. One way out is this liquid, right?
Them, Middleton, Cabot, and Asher.
Salamat sa 8 million, thank you.
Board the first train out of here.
Well, not here so far. Already people are taking the cruise. We can leave in a few minutes. No one of them have something else in mind. If I'm not mistaken, it's to kill you before they leave.
Lathrop and his partners entered Yellowstone National Park with only 7 bodyguards. Another party of 15 that preceded them set up fortifications in a part of the park that a map had shown to be easy to defend, and equally easy for Smoke Jensen and whoever accompanied him to find. Later, much to the objections of Victor Middleton and Arnold Cabot, made little effort to conceal his arrival. Consequently, word got to Smoke Jensen within 10 minutes of the arrival of Phineas Lathrop. By that time, the posse had been reduced by 2/3. They had followed the New York and Boston thugs onto the trains. But the odds did not deter Smoke, who set off on Dandy to follow wherever Lathrop led him. It didn't take long for Smoke, Ollie, LaLuke, and Monty to find who they sought. They were just topping a rise. The call of Phineas Lathrop infuriated Smoke. This was the nation's first national park, a beautiful and frightening land of majestic geysers that shot skulls and fountains every couple of minutes. A mysterious land, a sacred land. And now Phineas Lathrop and the remainder of his gang defiled it for their own murderous purposes. Smoke and his companions spread out and hunkered down on their horses. A cold, hard smile creased Smoke's lips. Those ahead, so confident of success, had no idea what Smoke had in store for them. The smile grew even wider.
Salamat sa 8 million. Salamat, guys.
What do you bet that Lathrop and his partners aren't in that bunch? No. Leave that to what's left of the posse and our friends up there.
Smoke nodded to the ridge that overlooked the trembling geyser base. He had cleverly placed a small contingent of men with rifles on that ridge. Smoke turned aside, followed by LaLuke Bouchon, Monty Carson, and Ollie Johnson. Smoke and his companions rode around the fray, coming from behind the
Kapoy, giatay, dan all.
men that sat next to the steamy ground. They approached when unnoticed.
William, mega love, shout out William, and son of love. Dan ka na sa 43, 44, 45 si Sikoy. Ayan guys, puntahan nyo si William guys.
A second later, he dismissed such frivolity as it became apparent that they had been observed.
Sunday.
They know we're here. Let's go.
Weapons at the ready since they had sighted the enemy. They held their fire and chose their targets well. Smoke focused on the figure of Phineas and veered Dandy closed on the man he wanted most. Lathrop seemed oblivious of this intense interest, choosing instead to look frantically about for some means of escape. The Smoke's left, Ollie Johnson leveled the shotgun. A column of double-up buckshot cleared one of the bodyguards from the saddle.
10 million, 10 million. Thank you so much sa mga nakatambay-tambay dyan. Maraming salamat.
The bullet took Ollie straight through the heart. He was dead before he hit the ground.
You son of a bitch.
Smoke changed the focus of his charge. He veered to the right to face off with Middleton. The Winchester Express was too unwieldy to fire from horseback, and Smoke retired behind his saddle. The short-barreled Marlin carbine in his hands came to his shoulder.
Thank you so much sa 10 million.
Witnessing the sudden violent death of his partner, broke Phineas Lathrop. Smoke went after him, but Smoke didn't want to end it for Lathrop with a rifle. He shoved the Marlin into its saddle scabbard. Gradually, Smoke gained on Lathrop. Wild-eyed and panicked, Phineas Lathrop waved an empty .38 Colt Lightning at Smoke Jensen. Then he threw it after gunfighter as Smoke closed half a leg. Short of an arm's grasp now, Smoke Jensen readied himself for the difficult maneuver he had worked out in the closing moments of the pursuit. Boots free of the stirrups, he levered himself upright on the saddle pad like a Roman rider. Lathrop gawked out and his Smoke jumped out with arms spread wide. Smoke came to his boots. Lathrop's eyes blinked open suddenly and focused far faster than most men would in his condition. He aimed a vicious kick at Smoke's crotch. He connected. Phineas Lathrop came to his boots then. He had a hideout gun concealed at the small of his back. He guarded his hands by
11 million. Thank you so much sa 11 million.
Smith free. Suddenly, Lathrop felt his gun hand seized.
12 million. Thank you, guys.
I'm taking you back to me.
Puntahan nyo si William, guys. Salamat, MSK.
Quickly, Laker forced himself up and backward. He reached behind his back. Fingers probed beneath his coat and shirt collars. He drew on a leather thong to pull the hilt of
Good
his
evening sa
knife.
lahat, sabi ni Motoral TV.
Small bits of
11 million,
skin
thank you so much. 11 million.
Phineas ignored him. To his utter surprise, Smoke Jensen didn't shoot him. I got a knife too. Yeah. Instead of letting his
Bakit ba kayo
power
nakaka-stand up dyan? Hindi na kayo salita. Taigin.
stumble past him. A quick flick of his arm sent Smoke's blade downward to split the cloth of Laker's coat and shirt and left a long, thin, pink line on his skin that quickly overflowed with bright red blood. Certain he had been split open to his intestines, Phineas Lathrop sought only to exact as much punishment in return as he could. He spun on one heel and lashed out with a stiletto. Smoke Jensen caught the blade on the false edge of his buoy and skidded to the guard, and Smoke gave a vicious twist that plucked the stiletto from Lathrop's hand. It flew in a high arc to land near a large black hole in the ground, which was surrounded by a cast iron pipe guardrail. Phineas Lathrop dashed after him. Suddenly, a huge blue and snowy steam belched from the opening. Fast behind it came a thick column of boiling water. The gigantic
Charsin Floor, miga lab, siya pahingi po link para bukas Team United Lab.
slowly, its upper portion lost momentum, and scalding rain descended on the heads of
Huh?
Smoke Jensen and Phineas Lathrop. Shielded by a sturdy stick,
Ay, salamat po. Pasensya na. Pahingi po ng link para bukas sa Team United Lab. O sige, bibigay ko sa iyo mamaya, be ha. Salamat.
his scalded flesh.
Ini-edit pa, be.
Superheated water soaked through his cloth suit. Smoke sheet that
Napakuha. Opo. Salamat po.
reached its crescendo and died out as quickly as it had started. Hundreds of pounds of water at near boiling temperature thundered down on the struggling men. Smoke wrestled himself down so that Phineas Lathrop wound up on top. The Easterner took the brunt of the scalding cascade.
Anong oras po yung schedule, be? Salamat, be ha.
Smoke's grasp. Blinded by the waterfall effect of Old Faithful, he stumbled into the railing that had been erected to protect visitors. He did a heels overhead flip and landed with his lower legs directly in the boiling.
Nagpa-member pala to siya. Oy, maraming salamat, ma'am. Wala na.
Not willing to let the man go that
William Dan na po. Pasukli, please. Sabi ni RMB. Guys, puntahan nyo nga si guys. Si Ma'am Charsin Floor, guys.
Smoke Jensen looked down at Phineas Lathrop.
Kasi ano,
Ha?
kasi yung parang stick.
Andyan. Teka lang. Salamat sa pa-member, ma'am. Ayan, binaba ko, ayan. Kasama ko sa team ko yan. Si Charsin Floor. Thank you so much sa pa-member mo, ma'am. Ayan na, binaba ko na. Puntahan nyo guys si ma'am. Dan 48 to 50 si Sikoy. Yon. Sally. Sali. 4. 8 million. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, thank you. Bula na mayang 3:30. Ayun. Done na po, pasukli please, sabi ni RMB. Je, palihugis ako edit are karejo ring video are be kay nanghanap sila ng ano? Kalim Ito yung sana ba yung gallery.
Dami tao. May 10 na eh.
11 nga kanina.
So, ano? Malaban na po. Pasukli.
Hindi kaya ito o yung isang asan ba makita yung video?
Ito ba? Ano yun dyan? Baka sa kabila. Ayun, isang cellphone.
Hindi.
Tapos na yun eh.
Tapos na to?
Yun yung sa swimming pool.
Hindi, yung si ate nag-video nito?
Yung
Hindi to. Ito yung nag-ano ako ng tubig, nag-ano oh. Hindi pa to tapos eh.
Ilan yung kunan mo? Kahit di ako na 13?
21 nga yan eh. Ito yung naglalagay ng
Ikat ko lang yan.
naglalagay ng lupa. Oh, grabe ni Mao. Maraming salamat, ma'am. Ika lang nga i-ano ko yung ano, tigbay. Saan na ba yung video na yun? Wala.
Pa-member auntie. William Dunn.
Ang sar ganito ko ano eh. Nawa, mag-video.
Diba kasi yung cellphone na yun?
Di man makitaan. Paano nga yun? Ryan, kami galab, shout out. Ryan, Until Lihaw. Saan dyan? Ayun o, select files.
Yan lang yan.
All items. Di, iba man yan.
Be, saan nga dito yung video ng
Ano ni Mao?
cellphone? Isa, cellphone. Yung nakikita yung ano eh.
Saan nga makita, Manuel? Yung video dito?
Is there any dependence on that thing?
Ewan ko.
Ano daw?
Pandesal daw, kung may natira ba daw?
Wala na, pandesal na yun.
No more. Di, ganiha ba? Yung pandesal, ganiha.
Wala, isang piraso na lang.
Ikaw,
Tingnan mo nga dyan.
ba't wala kang camera? Camera mo, ba't naka-off? Open mo.
Ito nga yun, ito nga yung inano ni ate.
Sige, yan na lang yan.
O, sandali ha. Asan ba yung headset ko? Hindi ikaw ang tinatanong ko.
Smoke considered the situation. More than 20 good people killed. And Ollie Johnson had been among them. So young, so wrapped up in
May
his
makinig ka
craft.
lang muna sa akin.
He had come west
Kaya
for his
kailangan.
story.
Mag-hidsit ka nga dyan, mag-hidsit ka.
Perhaps
47, 48, 49, 50. Done.
Importante ito.
Smoke discounted his own aches and pains They were nothing compared to what others had endured. He made a sweeping gesture.
Monty and his posse can take care of any prisoners. I suggest you and our other old friends accompany Mr. Lathrop here as far as Big Rock. Then, I'm heading for the Sugarloaf. It's been far too long since I've seen it set.
Smoke Jensen, the mountain man, 32, Rage of the Mountain Man, graphic audio production. Copyright 19.
Salamat guys. Nandyan pa rin kayo. Ang dami nyo nandyan. Salamat. Kalogs TV, mega mega love share, tamsak na. Maraming salamat po Kalogs TV. Thank you. Nakakatuwa naman kayo eh. Ang dami pa rin yun nandyan. RMB, mangisda ka na dyan, oh. May mga bago. Salamat sa imong hinatag nga WH ante. Huwag kang mag-alala, RMB. Hindi pa yan papasok. Imamagdamag ko to uli. Ilang tab ang ipi-play ko dyan. Hindi pa yan papasok. Ilang days pa yan mag-ano. $9 million. Thank you. Siya ang nagtulong. Giatay. Manguto ka pa dyan talaga, ah. Hanggat kaya ko, i-play. Pero ano na yan, 2 to 3 days pa yan mag-ano eh. Minsan nga, matagal pa eh. Siguraduhin mo lang yung mga video mo walang copyright. Baba ako, wala na ko'y load, ari, hehehe. Wala na kay load, ha? Sige, akong ibaba ni mong bahay, ha? Kalogs TV. Bakit hindi pareho yung nakikita ko dito? Ilan subscriber mo? Ano? Kalogs TV, ang dami man dito. Hindi ko makita eh. Hindi kita mo ano hindi kita ma-search. Ang dami mong kapangalan. Si RMB, kayong mga bago pa, magpa-member na kayo. Di atay si RMB, oy. Magbaba ka muna ng bahay mo, Kalogs TV. Oo, totoo naman yun, ante. Mauwaro ka. Ang sama?
Wala ko. Tatanungin ba naman ako bakit bawal ba ang pangsa?
Bakit bawal ba?
Kasi nga, yung pamangkin kagawad, dalawa lang kasi sila naiwan doon.
Oh.
Kasi si kagawad duty nga sa barangay. Hindi, dalawa lang sila. Ngayon, sinabi niya na nandun sa taas kasi doon sila matulog sa taas. Sabi ko, hindi pwede. Sabi niya, bakit bawal ba? Sabi ng anak ko. Sabi ko, natural, bakit dyan kayo sa taas? Hindi pwede yan na mahaluan yung ano natin dyan. Tapos siya nasa labas. Sabi ko, iniwanan mo pa talaga doon yung pamangkin ko. Bakit dyan kayo matutulog? Siyempre, di ba?
Sino ba matutulog? Anak mo?
Anak ko nga tsaka yung pamangkin. Basta dalawa lang kasi sila doon. Kaya sabi, nagtanong yung anak ko sa akin, kung bawal ba daw. Sabi ko, natural. Sabi ko, isara mo yan dyan kasi nandun yung mga gamit eh.
Oo, daming bago. Oh?
Nandun yung mga gamit tapos ibinatain.
Hindi natin alam na ano.
Mahirap naman. Hindi naman natin sinabi na ano. Pero yung inducing ba? Siyempre.
Yung gamit ko doon, hindi mo
Kaya
alam.
sabi ko sa anak ko, basta pag ano, huwag mo na lang sabihin na ayaw ko na gano'n. Ikaw na lang mismo magawa ng paraan na doon na lang tayo matulog sa baba. Oo. Kasi ganito, huwag mo sabihin na ayaw ni mama na ganito. Ikaw na lang magawa. Pero, huwag kang dumikit sa kanya, magbukod ka. Kasi may ano daw na, sintomas daw na, COVID sabi nito daw.
Uy!
Kasi naglagnat nga. Kaya pinaliwanag ko rin ni Kagawad. Tapos sinend ko sa kanya yung mga tuyo. Para ano. Sabi ko hindi naman ako umuwi dyan taga nung ano kasi ayaw ko rin naman na maalis lang na puro lang gala-gala lang din naman.
Mahirap yun.
Sabi niya, iniisip ko lang sabi niya. Kasi ang kasama doon ni Bonso, kasi Bonso yung anak ko. Kasama dyan ni Bonso, yun kasi tawag namin sa kanya.
Oo, marami RB.
Sabi niya si Lucky daw. Ano yun, may sintomas ng COVID. Sabi niya. Ito ko yung anak ko, malambing siya doon ba, mga pamangkin. Kung sino kahit nilagnat, may ano, magsigig lambing, magdikit, matulog, katabi matulog. Kaya sabi ni Kagawad, ikaw Bunso, ang tigas-tigas ng ano mo, dapat pag mga ganyan, lumaylo ka. Huwag kang makipag, ano sa kanya, bumukod ka, para hindi ka naman mahawaan, ano, kasi pag mahawaan tayo lahat dito.
Oo,
Kaya
talaga.
tinawagan ko, kaya sabi niya sa akin, tawagan mo doon dyan yung anak mo. Sabihin mo doon na, huwag mag-ano kayo. Tapos yun, nireplyan ko, sabi ko, tinawagan ko na po. Saka sinabihan mo yung anak ko, mag-chat ka doon kay tito mo, sabihin mo na, magbukod ka, hindi ka didikit sa kanya para, ano rin ba? Kahit ba pamangkin, kung ganyan ang ano, may sintomas siguro.
Araw-araw lang kayo magpunta dito sa live ni host. Kasi di ming ayuda. Mag-ayuda siya. Bintaha man kadiha kay nanihapon man kadiha kami ariwa pa. Ugma na punta oy. Guys, magbabay na ako guys sa Kalogs TV. Thank you so much. And RNB Vlog, maraming salamat dong. At saka Ebski, maraming salamat. Ma'am Charsen Flor, salamat ma'am. William, maraming Sisikoy Sali Kikay, maraming salamat. Magbabay na ako guys ha, magbabay na ako. Magbabay. Iniro nga karon ante. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye Sisikoy. Salamat Sisikoy Sali.